Guys, this is one of the most devastating losses in regular season history. This has to be absolutely one of the most devastating losses, and I want to throw up on my keyboard. To fight back like that in the third period and to just, with 3 seconds left, oh my God, this is just unbelievable. That would have been a completely stolen point, and what an absolutely, Keith is furious because of the icing call, and we couldn't get Nico out there. Obviously, Halla loses the draw, and that's just, are they challenging this? Absolutely gutting. One of the most gutting losses I've ever seen. I have to see the replay. It could be a gratuitous icing. I mean, wow. To talk about, to claw back, to look like we were going to steal a point on the road. And wow. Timeout, New Jersey. It's over. This is disgusting. I'm disgusted. Disgusted. Potentially a gratuitous icing. I do want to see it again. People are saying it was a BS icing, but I mean, wow. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. An amazing comeback, thwarted for nothing. 3 seconds left. I mean, this is just the season, a microcosm of the season, in my opinion. I mean, my God. What do you have? Goaltender interference, potentially? I mean, no. Terrible. I'm stunned. I'm disgusted. This is one of the worst regular season Devils losses I could ever recall. Given where we are in the standings, with Jackhughes being injured, the team fighting back from down 2. I think what they show, we only have two third period comebacks on the season against a very good team on the road without Jackhughes. The Devils find a way to get 2 third period goals, and it looks like we're going to salvage a point out of this thing. And to lose in that fashion, my God, absolutely gutting. I just, wow. It's completely disgusting. Completely disgusting. I threw a drink across my room. It was in a bottle. The typical Devils teaser, guys. My phone's blowing up. Worst Devils regular season loss in years. Like I said, given where we are in the standings, needing the point, Jackhughes out. It looks like we were going to be well on our way to getting crushed. Down 2 on the road, no Jackhughes. They fight back and blow it with 3 seconds left. I mean, dude, I can't. I think everyone. Let me see. Here's the replay. Wow. Super close on the icing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. What an absolutely just devastating loss. Devastating loss. What looked like we were 3 seconds away from a point. Even 1 point would have been huge in this one. Points are precious. 19 games left. I'm going to vomit. This is definitely one of the most devastating losses for a regular season game. I mean, oh my God, it's gross. It's absolutely gross. Wow. I didn't even get my ice. I didn't. Win or lose, we booze, guys. Dirty Devil vodka. I'm just going straight out of the bottle here. Oh, my God. Win or lose, we booze. Dirty Devil vodka. And wow, the official vodka, the great Martin Brodeur. And I think I'm stunned, guys. I'm absolutely stunned. How that just, wow. Yeah, that icing didn't have to be called. I mean, you could make the argument that Harley could have played that. It was right, like, probably within an inch of his stick off the bank. And, wow. That point could be the difference between us making the playoffs or not. Did that shot hit somebody? Not that it matters. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Husky says, this is easily the worst loss of the season. This is the worst loss I could remember. This is the worst loss I could remember for a regular season game. It doesn't get any worse than that. To fight back on the road, no Jackhughes, everybody writing us off, the deadline looming. Is Fitz going to buy? What is he going to do? Is he going to punt on the season? This could have been one of those kind of springboard wins that, the team puts a little run together or something to feel good about. And instead, it is the most absolutely gutting variety of a loss. I would have rather have lost 3-1. I wish the game just ended 3-1 instead of clawing back and teasing everybody, the fans, the players. Game stats: Devils 28 shots on goal, Stars at 21. Devils 43.5% in the faceoff circle, Stars 56.5%. Devils power play 2 for 2. Dallas 1 for 5 on the power play. Devils 37 hits. You like to see that, but in the end, what does it all matter for when the game goes like this? 12 hits for the Stars. Devils with 12 block shots. Stars with 7 block shots. Devils 19 giveaways. The Stars with 23 giveaways. Devils 3 takeaways. Stars 4 takeaways. And they were dominated early in the game. Found a way to come back in the third. I'll be honest. I wrote them off for sure. I thought it was over. They looked lifeless for stretches of the game. I did become a doomer myself because my heart can just not take it anymore. This team has just been excruciating to watch. What was once a team looking like amongst the cup contenders, one of the elite teams in the league at that Christmas break, 2025 has been one of the worst calendar years probably in Devils history of a team that was remotely respectable. I'm not going to count some of those really bad teams in the past 12 years. But in terms of a team that actually looked like and had playoff hopes and aspirations and expectations, to come out and just fall the way we have it in 2025. And again, this game is just absolutely, my God. Wolf Rock, and never mind, the season's over. Andy MC, I know we've been pumping Marky's tires, but he has to stop that. I think it did hit somebody. There was screens. In the end, we could have been down, 6 goals midway through the game if it wasn't for Markstrom. I'm not going to blame him for this. He gave us a chance to win tonight, and it was terrible. Gem card collecting, gut punch loss. Yeah, absolutely. James says that should end the season for sure. Krungs, I had to stop myself from punching a hole in the wall. Brian says we are cursed. I believe we really might. Van Whalen says to all the Pesci haters, tell me how he sucks again. Yeah, big goal by him, but it all was for nothing. All was for nothing. Unbelievable. Eric says that was not icing. The New York nobody, that was rough. Do you think they will hold the 3rd seed? At this point, I don't know. It looks like the season is just in complete free fall, if I'm being honest. Dire Wolf, let Jack get surgery. Get a forward with term and do a complete gutting of the bottom 6 in the summer. What a loss. Man. Gem Card says, I hate this. Vic, are you serious? With 5 seconds left, we lose. Come on the hell on. It was like, I think it was 3 seconds. Or it was 4.8 was the official time. Dyer says they're not holding the 3rd seed. Again, I've been saying for weeks, it certainly feels like a coin flip. It's felt like that for me for a while. And wow. I am just absolutely devastated. That was unbelievable. Completely unbelievable. Gem Card, never been so mad with a loss. Yeah, it's crazy. Marshall, I'm going to crash out if I keep watching this team, man. Zach says I would have taken a 4-1 L over that. Me too. Me too. I thought after the second goal, it was another one of those obligatory Devils, third period, the fake comeback teases. I was like, oh, here we go. It's the obligatory, almost comeback tease. But no, it wasn't. They actually did come back only to blow it with 4.8 seconds left. Yeah, Dougie Hamilton injured. I mean, Vic, yeah, now we lose Dougie. Have they even put anything out on Dougie? It's unbelievable. Has there been a report on Dougie Hamilton yet? I've been locked into the game, and ever since it ended, I'm just like, I came on here right away. I don't know if there's been a Dougie update yet. If anyone has one, I haven't seen it, but wow. John Face, this is what happens when Chris Rooney refs and the Devils are playing. Yeah, he's another guy that shouldn't be allowed to referee Devils games. He clearly hates the team and has for a while. Ritter Engine, the team has a major issue. Evan says, so furious. Stanley, I got to say, not really bothered. I'll always hope for the best. Got the boys, but there's nothing enjoyable about this product. Can't stand to watch anymore. Rather just BS with y'all. I just can't believe. I cannot believe the ending of this game after the miraculous comeback. Chico says losses entirely on Markey tonight. Oh my God, give it a break, Chico. Give it a break. Did you watch the game? You might be the only, I'm sure you'll find one or two other people in here to jump on your bandwagon, the people that love to blame the goalies. But in the end, this was not a Markstrom loss. Zach, this was a definition of a heartbreaker. A mentally weak team. Rich says, Ace, you called the fourth goal. Brandon, this is our season in a nutshell. Yeah, a roller coaster of emotions. I'm just so pissed off right now. Wow. We're 4 seconds away from a huge point. That point would have been huge. And who knows? We were dictating the game late in the third. We could have possibly won in overtime. Vic says, and Fitz is an idiot for making that BS trade today. Alex, Timo right side power play. Who would have thought? Well, I guess I'll talk about this for a minute. That some guy on X that likes to play with analytics numbers put out some nonsensical thing that Timo is the same player on the left and the right, and he was using expected goals for as a thing. And even the stats actually showed the stats he was trying to use, though the analytics, that he's the same on the left wing or right wing. And even his stats showed that he was better on the right wing. And he was like, oh, it's basically the same. It wasn't. His analytics are better for the right. Furthermore, forget the analytics of the expected goals. I believe the numbers were in 16 games, Timo had 8 goals on the right wing. And then I think he had 20 goals in 53 games on the left wing. I mean, all of the real stats, actual goals, forget expected, anticipated, maybe, forget all that bullshit. The actual numbers support that he's better on the right. The analytics that he used actually showed that they were better on the right. And if you watch the game, you clearly can see, to anyone who's ever watched the game, if you watch the game, he is a left-handed shot. He 100% prefers the right side and is better on the right side. That guy puts that nonsense out. The very next game, Timo Meier, blast from the right side on the power play. You can't make this shit up. But shame on the people that consume that content and then regurgitate it as it's fact. It's complete nonsense. Timo 1,000% is better on the right side, and he favors it. Furthermore, anytime Timo gets the puck and rushes up the ice, he literally comes up the right side every single time. And for anyone who's ever played hockey, you know this, but I'll explain it for the people maybe who have not. As a left-handed shot, if you're coming up the right wing, Timo could put the stick in his right hand and drag the puck up the wall, up the right wall, and use his body, the left side that's open to the ice, to drop his shoulder and drive towards the net. And you'll see it constantly. The guy's a bull. That is his game. He'll one-hand it up the wall with the right hand and drop his shoulder and drive the net. And then he pulls with the right hand, pull the puck back across to his forehand and rip it. I don't know how people don't understand this. It's maddening. I'm done talking about it. For those of you that understand, it's clear. It's as clear as day. He prefers the right wing. He is more effective there, and he should be there the rest of the season. I'm sure next game we're going to see him back on the left wing. He's going to be on the left wing. But it's unbelievable. Completely unbelievable. Brian, I almost crashed my car in Chick-fil-A when they scored. Mortensen's a Canes fan here. Damn, that's a bummer. Jeremiah, worst loss of the season with 3.8 seconds left. Terrible. Alex says the boys were so hyped up after that Pesci goal too, man. They got to feel like shit. Yeah, you heard them screaming on the ice and on the bench. Fired up. This could have been a win that I believe not turn the season around, but maybe salvage the season. It would have been a really good feel-good story. And I think, it could have went a long way. Like, win one for Jack to come, the dramatic comeback element of it. The whole thing had, a lot more, I think, than just the actual win. I think this would have really been good for the group. And it all fell apart with 4.8 seconds left. I mean, absolutely gutting loss. Paulie says, I thought for sure you would have finished the entire bottle before the start of the third period. Man. Johnny Danks, why did Kovacevic take the puck out? He should have just held the puck in our zone with only 20 seconds left and gone to OT. I mean, in the end, it's easy to question every little thing now. I mean, it would have been nice. But, yeah, I mean, the most expensive or costly, if you want to call it, the most costly icing of the season. The most costly icing of the season, and ultimately cost us the game. It would have been nice. It would have been really nice if Haula could have won the draw, but that wasn't in the cards either. And it's all a nightmare. We're living a nightmare. We are living in an absolute nightmare right now. And again, this all could have bigger implications as far as what Fitz does at the trade deadline. We're still, luckily, Columbus lost today. We are still in a playoff spot, but I mean, my God, how is our plan to get to the playoffs to just hope all the teams chasing us keep losing? I mean, it's not going to keep happening. Carolina won. Yeah, so I'm going to say tonight, officially, the dream of catching the Canes died. And so now the best case scenario for this group is to hold on to that third spot in the Metro. I mean, that's as good as it's going to get. We're not catching the Canes anymore. It's just crazy. What a swing. That one goal just had so many things change now as a result of that goal. And that point that we just lost at the end, that could be the difference between making the playoffs and not when it's all said and done. Precious point that got away. M says, Markey's glove clear as day got moved by 54. The New York nobody, that late game rally felt so legit. It felt legit to me as well. Salvatore says, Kobe needs to get the line. The icing call was bullshit. Dire Straits, Hall needs to be buried in the AHL. Ryder, F by the refs again. What a trend. Markey had steals, but could have had a few of those heartbreaking games. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest game for him, but in the end, we could have easily been down much bigger. Yeah, we could have been down 3 or 4 goals early. But I'll never blame Markey for this game whatsoever. For me, was it his best game? No. Could he have stolen? Had he played a little better, would have been like a stolen game. Yeah. But in the end, he can't steal every game. That was a huge letdown by the team at the end there. And damn, icing. Haula can't win the draw. Yeah, we are so unlucky. Really, we are. We can't catch a break with anything. Samuel, they weren't beat. They beat themselves with stupidity. James Israel, Kobe made a boneheaded play. Van Walen, Chico, lay off the crack pipe. Markey is the reason this game didn't end up in a bloodbath. I agree with that. Salvatore, the last 10 minutes of the game really felt like the beginning of a rally for even a few games. For me, too. I really thought that was going to be like a little jumping off point. Like, okay, it started off bad. They clawed back, and then found a way to win. I really think if it went to overtime, we were going to win in overtime. I mean, maybe that is delusional of me, but I don't think, the Devils were in the driver's seat. The Devils were in the absolute driver's seat. The Stars looked like they were shocked. Honestly, the Stars were shocked, and we were dictating the game. Terrible. Dimitri, Ace, I've been a fan since 1987 through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Shout out to you, Dimitri, longtime fan. You were through some horrible years early, then you witnessed the dynasty years, and now we're back to, the tragic era. Nearly 12 years of mostly garbage hockey for this New Jersey Devils club. John, the biggest Devils hater will always be Chris Rooney. He always has been and always will be the number one Devils hater and most wanted in Prudential. For those of you who don't know the history with the referee Rooney and the Devils, look into that. It's crazy. Noel says, what's with all these hairline calls the last 2 games? Feel as if the refs are in on it or something. No way it gets as bad randomly unless Rags fans are cursing us as usual or the latter. Cheers. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Jaden says, Ace, it's over. Let's go Rangers. Screw the Rangers, Jaden. Go Boro. Hate to say it, but I think I'm burning out. This is just painful now. It's absolutely painful. Absolutely painful. Chico says that last goal, his glove was bumped, but that first goal has to be stopped. Yeah, well, what about all the other saves that he made that tons of goalies would have let in? I mean, it's a give and take. If you're going to point out the ones that he should have had, what about all the ones that a lot of people would have gave up? Evan says, now we have to wait until Friday. Jeff, if it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all right now. It's absolutely correct. Michaela, it's the hope that kills you. They totally gave us some false hope. Chico, he gave us a chance to win. 8-10 on 21 shots is not all giving us a chance to win, especially after that first goal. Bro, do you just look at stats? How many of those 21 shots were like insane chances? It's easy to pull up a stat and go 8-10 on 21 shots. I mean, give me a break, Chico. Give me a break. Samuel, over 33 years as a Devils fan, can't remember a Devils team I disliked this much. Artie, who gets traded on Friday? I don't think any trades we were going to make were going to really involve a roster player. I think any trades we made were going to be for future pieces. And I don't think anyone that's here now is going to be traded. We don't have many guys on the roster that would even have value in a trade, if I'm being honest. Jay Snow, I'm so disappointed. Ace, this team has broke me, and I'm arguing about Timo. It's just what a dark night. What an absolutely dark night. It's terrible. Dimitri, Ace, to see Tom Fitzgerald not look to make adjustments after the Christmas break, I don't care who they bring in. We need to shuffle the deck. Can we trade Fitzgerald for Lou? Paulie, Ace has officially crossed over to the dark side. He is now a doomer like the rest of us. I'm not a doomer, but the reality is this team has holes. We're clinging on to a playoff spot for our lives, and it's not looking good. There's not a lot to be optimistic about. Outside of, for this game, I guess the optimistic silver lining, and again, I'm sick and tired of talking about silver linings, is that they found a way to claw back in the third, and they were 4 seconds away from getting a point. But we let it slip away. It's crazy. Ryan, Wings and Jackets losing regulation. We are 3 seconds away from at least a point and walk away with nothing. I just can't anymore with this team. Yeah, I think we're all there. Rapid blue is the new black. This loss broke my heart. This has to be devastating for the team. They must have a feeling that they are cursed. We needed at least a point out of this. Yeah, it was right there. It was right there, man. Oh, Gem Card says, now I think the season is over after every game, saying they're definitely making the playoffs. Even Gem Card thinks it's done now. Salvatore, wild card Devils will still be an improvement over no playoff Devils from last season. For sure, if they make the wild card, but if they go into that pool, if someone steals our third spot, whether it's Columbus or the Rangers, and we get into that bloodbath that is the wild card, I don't feel good about it. Nick, that was brutal to not even get a point. Tough loss for words. Don't think you could get worse. That's as heartbreaking as a loss is. Wolf Rockin' 74. Love you, AC. Next year, my friend. Keefe has to go, and we need a lot more bangers out there. Oh, and also a generational goaltender. I'm done with this shit team. I think it's a little early to pack it in, Wolf, but it's not looking good. Jack, there's no coming back from that. That is not a loss that can just be shrugged off. And that's my fear. It's like, given that the game was tied, it was either, if we lost an OT or the shootout, it wouldn't have been devastating. It still would have sucked. But to at least salvage the point after getting dominated for a lot of the game, but then to claw back and lose like that, I feel like is a huge blow to the team that maybe will have a lingering effect. I hope not, but I can't see how it's not a possibility. That is as devastating of a loss as it gets. Michael Hayes, thanks this man. I know it's been a rough go with our Devils, but I appreciate you being here to deal with this together. Keep it up. Yeah, thanks, Michael. We're all just venting here, man. Terrible. Jay Snow, we're the worst comeback team in the NHL for a reason, I guess. Van Whalen, the East is so bad the team will make it to the playoffs. I'm stunned. Michael says chicken vodka parm for all. Joseph, this team can't come back to win a game for their lives. Well, I guess to finish the comeback, I can't believe it. To come back from down two, and then just let it all slip away like that. It's terrible. Justin, that icing call was egregious and cost us a point. Go Boro, and Sleepy Fitz just wants to Nepo hire and lick Boston and Edmonton. Jason, no, the broadcast even said the Devils just can't finish their chances. We played a great period. Yeah, they played a great third period. That was just a tragic ending. Chico, this team could survive losing Hughes. I don't think they survive with both Dougie and Jack out. And I think, and I do think, I think Emily Kaplan pointed it out on the broadcast at the end or towards the end. I think it was actually before the Devils blew it. I think she said something along the lines of all of the, GMs have their kind of trade outline, the trade deadline plan as of today. And depending on what happens in the next couple of days, it could be different on Friday. Obviously, we don't have any more games before the deadline. But does the news of Dougie Hamilton change now with Jack and Dougie out? is the table being set for the perfect excuse for Tom Fitzgerald to say, you know what, we're punting another season. I hope that doesn't happen. I'll be furious. Even with them both out, you must try. You owe this team better than that. At least get some improvements. Precious years of the core. I keep talking about it. Years just keep rolling. This is Jesperbratt and Nicohischier's 8th season, guys. They've been to the playoffs twice. Their rookie year, which they never even belonged there, Taylor Hall with a superhuman effort in the regular season en route to winning the Hart Trophy as the MVP of the league, dragged a sorry sack Devils team to the playoffs. Tampa Bay ousted us in 5. That was not Jack. That was Nico and Jesper Bratt's first playoff, their rookie season, out in 5. And then they didn't make it again until 22-23 when we obviously beat the Rangers in 7 games and then got roughed up by Carolina. Follow up that season last year with a clunker. And now we might be looking at back-to-back duds after setting a franchise record. It's completely ridiculous. It cannot happen. But with the injuries now, nothing's going to surprise me. I was already very worried about how the deadline was going to be handled because of Jack's injury. But now with Jack and Dougie, I mean, my God. Jay Snow, without Markey, we're not in the game. I totally agree. Salvatore Chico, he would have been the reason we stole at least a point. I agree there as well. Insane Pollock, Hall needs to go. He screened Markey on that last shot. What a terrible chain of events. And it is funny. I don't know why. For some reason, after the icing was called, I did have a sickening feeling. And for some reason in my head, I was like, should Keefe call timeout? I don't know why. The way it all was going, for some reason, I did have a very eerie feeling. And it was terrible. Go Boro. If it wasn't for Markstrom, we would have lost 6-2. Swamp Fox. Fitz has been sitting on his arse with an obviously offensively challenged team that needs a top 6 forward and a third-line center for at least a month and a half. What the hell is his problem? And that's my biggest issue with the whole thing is that, I overall, I would say I'm fairly optimistic. And I defended a lot of terrible things, I think, all season long, where a lot of you who I would call doomers or just negative people in general, maybe not necessarily doomers, but more negatively skewed people. I put out the video about I hit the panic button late January because at that point, it was about 5 or 6 weeks ago. At that point, it was clear to me it was more than just a normal kind of slump for a team. It wasn't like, a little hiccup, a little 5-7 game where they go 2-5, something like that. It obviously was a more fundamental problem, and the writing was on the wall. And that's why I said at that point, I put out the video that I'm hitting the panic button because if something doesn't change soon, the lead is it's just going to get the playoff picture is just going to get tighter and tighter. Now it's a vice grip around our necks, and the writing was on the wall. And so you have to blame Tom Fitzgerald. I wish he did do something sooner. It wasn't done, and here we are. The cushion was completely evaporated, and now we're just trying to back into the playoffs. It's crazy. Completely crazy. Party Burger, the bad luck we've had since the new year has to be studied. I'm literally speechless, and now Dougie is hurt too. Unreal. What a harsh reality for us Devils fans. Completely crazy. Fee was worried we wouldn't see you tonight, Ace. Yeah, it was bad. I had to just immediately just walked over here and flipped everything on because if I sat there, I don't know, I would have had the energy to get up and actually come on here. Joseph, 2 playoff appearances in the last 11 seasons. Yeah, it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I'm trying to catch up a little bit. Ryan, of course, Timo better on the right side opens up one-timers for lefties. Some people still don't understand this. I've given up trying to explain it, but Timo clearly prefers the right. It's not even a question anymore. There's nothing to talk about. For the people trying to say it doesn't matter, you're completely lost and you're not worthy of my time. Erickson, that last play was not icing. The defender chose not to play the puck. Yeah, it looked like Harley could have played it, and again, very questionable. But the Devils aren't going to get any breaks, it seems like, ever. Van Whalen says, Ace, what you're saying about Timo is a Keefe issue, not a Fitz issue. If you're talking about what side he's playing on, sure, I blame Keefe more for that. But in the end, I fear that that's an analytics-driven thing, that Keefe was told, Timo on the left side for whatever reason. I could be totally wrong. But either way, I'm giving blame to everybody. It's clear to anyone with eyeballs, to anyone who has a set of eyes to continue playing Timo on the left side. For whatever reason, I guess the only thing that even remotely makes sense and still doesn't make sense to me is that they believe that optimizes their lineup the best, because for whatever reason, Timo is still pretty good on left wing. And so they feel like as a whole, you get a better product by putting him there versus someone else who might not be as good on that side. But either way, you got to put Timo in the best position to succeed, in my opinion, and he belongs on the right. NJ Swampfox, Timo is better on the right side. What the hell is wrong with the Devils coaches and so-called brain trust? Fitz needs to go. SJ Markey will bounce back. Question is, could the Devils keep scoring? BC says at least we signed Trent Frederick for 20 seconds. Van Walen, Chico, I think you're watching a different game tonight. Markstrom is the reason this didn't turn into an 8-3 blowout. Yeah, but there's the people that always want to blame the goalie. So if you have a weak goal but stop 10 amazing shots, it's the goalie's fault. I've given up on those people as well. Insane Pollock, people were saying that should not have been icing. It was borderline. I think that Harley did have every chance to play the puck there, and it kind of just went by his stick, and he got the call. Blackatron, I don't know if we should make moves at the deadline or pack it in. This team is trending down, way down. Can never pack it in. Playoffs or bust. Not trying anything you could do to bolster this roster to get this team into the playoffs is a fail. And it's a slap in the face to Jesperbratt. It's a slap in the face to nicohischier. It's a slap in the face to jacobmarkstrom. It's a slap in the face to Sheldon Keefe. And it's a slap in the face to every player in the lineup. To sit there and go, oh, 2 of our guys got hurt. Sorry. Fuck you guys. You're on your own. Absolutely not. Inexcusable. Cannot happen. And if it does happen, the chants will be loud. They will be extremely loud for people looking for blood. And rightfully so. It would be justified. It's not like we're begging for Fitzgerald to make moves for a team that's 7-8 points out of the wild card. We're screaming from the mountaintops for a move to keep a team that's in the playoffs, to keep them in the playoffs. That's what we're looking for, to stay in the playoffs. We're not talking about some miracle that we're looking for to get into the playoffs. Maybe that would have been the case with last season, even though, again, if a goalie was brought in January or possibly even February, I think they could have squeaked in. But that's not it. This season is different. We're in the playoff picture. We are there. These crazy math people are telling everyone we have 90% chance to make it. And so if that is the case, there is absolutely no excuse. Absolutely no excuse to not give these guys what they need. Get anything. Get anything you can to improve the roster. Devin, we missed the playoffs by 1 goal. We look back at this game, you have 1 point. This is going to be the one that everyone remembers. .376er says, can't believe they almost won without Jack's presence. Val, unlucky or poorly coached? I'm going to say unlucky. Unlucky and outmanned on paper and on the ice. Their roster is way better than ours. Walt Pros, hard-fought game. The effort was there. Everyone on their heels lost. Jeff says they showed life from the power play. That's your silver lining. Timo was great out there, power play goal aside. I agree. Custo Hockey, I have the official's home address. Shall I leak it? You guys are nuts. Don't do that. Some people really are unhinged. I don't want to be connected to any nonsense. BC, the only good signings Fitz makes during the season are for other teams. Tanev, Frederick, anyone else we could help out? Yeah, maybe we'll broker another deal for somebody. We'll broker something for another big deal for a guy we should be looking at. True Patriot team is unable to beat elite teams. You have to find ways to win and play 60 minutes, 60 effing minutes. Yeah, another night where obviously they didn't play 60 minutes. We were getting dominated early, and we were super fortunate to be able to claw back in that third period. I was kind of stunned, actually. Like I said, after we got the second goal, I was like, oh, here's the routine tease where, oh, it's that almost comeback too little too late by the Devils. But then sure enough, on the delayed penalty call, Brett Pesce fires one in the net, and I was kind of stunned. I was like, wow. And then the Devils came in a couple waves and were just taking over the game, all for it to fall apart off of Fugazi icing. Terrible. Salvatore, so many pieces on the current roster are guys who will never help us over the line to win a big game. Outside of a handful of guys, this roster isn't it, and we were all fools to think otherwise. Fools. I have to agree. I was duped as well. But terrible. NJ Devil's blood. This team has too many mediocre players. Time to clean house. Coach is not the right fit for the team. I'm not blaming Keefe. Again, the roster has significant holes. Significant. Jackhughes and jesperbratt were weighed down by Andre Palat this entire season. With all due respect to Palat, he is not a top 6 guy on any other team in the league. And when your 2 best players are saddled with him as their line mate, you're not optimizing their play either. And then obviously the bottom 6 with just zero production for months and months. It's a recipe for a disaster, despite our goaltending and defense being much better than it was last year. The new problem is we can't score now. It's crazy. SJ says, team needs new medical team. Injuries are getting ridiculous for numerous seasons. Yeah, but how are you going to blame any of this on the medical team? I mean, Dougie had that weird thing behind the net. Jackhughes, we all know, is super delicate. And despite trying his hardest to avoid contact, when there is contact, there's a good chance he's going to get injured. And it is what it is. It really is what it is. But here we are in a dogfight. Mark says Fitz needs to go, period. Val S. Last year, nobody wanted to get the playoff spot in the East, meaning the Devils would miss out. Matt, I don't know what's more frustrating, us sucking so bad or our fans blaming things like Markstrom or some icing call with seconds to go. Well, I mean, the icing call, I think, is how are you going to deny that? I mean, if that wasn't the call, we get a point. If they don't call that icing, we literally have a point at a minimum. At a minimum. Markstrom, I think, to blame Markstrom, I think is ridiculous. True Patriot, I don't even check in here anymore because it's just the same story. Not your fault, just tired of them. I get it, man. Fentanyl Floyd can't wait until Fitz is the third wheel and some more trades on Friday. I hope not. Ryan says, I'm sure scoring on Hellebuck won't be an issue. Yeah, the best goalie in the game. Chico, what about all the other ones anyone else would have given up? The Devils didn't give up a high danger chance the rest of the game after the first. Okay, how many were in the first, though? How many were in the first? Chico, you're by yourself on this island, bro. To blame Markstrom is crazy. You're clearly in the minority, and I know you think you're the smartest guy in the room, but I'm here to tell you you're not. Can't blame this on Mark. He made a lot of big saves, and what can he do when he screened as much as he was in that game-winning goal? Terrible. Ryder says, stop living in analytics and watch the game. He didn't steal it, but he didn't look like VTech. Oh, no. SST is going to feel violated there. Matt, something is very wrong with our organization. It's been too long now. We are not a serious deep playoff team, and despite what so many have said, we haven't been for a while now. Terrible. What a terrible night. Why is discernment? This game ripped the soul out of my body. Holy F. 4 Devil Tri-Days. This is the bottom. Literally worst loss of the season. Yeah, it definitely is. 100%. Fentanyl Floyd, they're 9-12-3 since Christmas break. Downward trajectory. I think downward trajectory is putting it kindly. It's been a cliff dive. Chico says that's not a loss that can be shrugged off. That's a concern of mine too. That plus losing Dougie right after losing Jack. Those might be the killing blows for the season, and I hope not, but it really could be. It just could be too many things for them to overcome. I hope not. We do have some veteran leaders on this team. I'm sure Dylan, Markey, maybe Palat to some extent, but wow. And it doesn't get any easier. The next game against a very good Jets team with Hellebuck. I mean, wow. It's what an unkind schedule with the time, and especially with the timing of all these injuries. It's crazy, man. Samuel says losing that point will destroy team morale, what's left of it. I certainly hope not, but I do think that could be a thing. This could be the beginning of the end. Stanley 62495. The worst thing that happened tonight is that our awful GM just got covered in more Teflon. This is an absolute nightmare. He's killing this organization. We're going to see. But now I think this, with Dougie getting hurt, I mean, it just gets, you can't make this stuff up. I have no idea what his mindset's going to be now, but it could be getting in the punt formation. I was reading an article show how bad our drafting had been, basically showing the players we could have had that were slated to go on the top of the draft. Fitz goes off the board, picks and needs. Yeah, no. Holtz was a terrible pick. Stillman was a terrible pick. I disagreed with Nemitz at the time. I wouldn't have picked him there, but he still could turn out to be a good player. So I can't say it was a terrible pick, but in terms of immediate help, other players would have been on the roster right now. Custo Hockey, rumor circulating that Hughes is out till mid-May. Devils now actively looking to acquire Elias Pettersson. Look for a 3-team deal with retention. This is legit. I live by Canucks management member. Dude, I don't want Pettersson. Oh, my God. That would be a panic move, in my opinion. That would be an absolute panic move. Execution says, I had that same feeling, Ace. Weird. Yeah, there was just something about it where I was like, this is eerie. I don't know. And I was like, maybe call a timeout. Maybe it would have seemed excessive, but it was weird. Keith was laughing after the whistle was blown for the icing. Knew it was way over after they showed that. Salvatore, Ace, we all felt that way after the icing. The team has conditioned us to expect disappointment, and maybe that is it. Mark says, Pettersson, we don't need any more streaky players. I don't want him at all. I don't want a desperation move. Louis, I had an eerie feeling too, I think, because of Four Nations. Resting guitar face. My wife and I watched the whole game. I don't have anything to add except I'm right here with you, boys. We'll get through the season together. Let's go Devils. Man, I feel like I'm going to puke, though. I feel physically ill. That was just absolutely trash. Rocky, Dougie gave up too early on that first goal. Hate to say it, they were probably better without him. He got toasted. He got absolutely toasted there. What an end-to-end breakaway, essentially. What a disgusting sequence. I couldn't believe it. It was like 2 or 3 minutes into the game. Dire Straits says, apparently Meier and Dylan were in near tears in the postgame. Is that for real? We got guys crying after every game now. Mark, easiest explanation is we were ready and the other teams were slow to start. We've been a paper tiger all year. The forward group, we could have had if Fitz had drafted the best player available instead of his classic off-the-board draft picks makes me want to pull my hair out. Yeah, I mean, the whiffing on drafts and then overpaying some guys is a combination for a disaster, and here we are. Stanley, the Carolina loss absolutely killed this team's psyche. It was obvious they were rolling in Carolina, completely took the wind out of their sails, and they never recovered. Vibe completely gone. It's hard for me to blame multiple months of a free fall, though, on one loss like that. Chico says, if Bratt wants to mainly play make anyway, why not move him to the left? Same as his hand, as far as I know, and then have a Bratt, Nico, Timo. I would like to see that. They should definitely be swapped. Vic, didn't watch this game. I gather Timo was finally on the right wing. My question was Bratt with him on the left. I mean, he really wasn't. He was still left wing, but he was on the right side on the power play and blasted one from the circle. And then when you watch, anytime he's driving up the ice with the puck, he always goes to the right side for all of the reasons we've talked about ad nauseum. He's a left-handed shot, and he's much more comfortable going on the right. I mean, it's just very, very obvious. Slurp, what type of mind-altering drugs are available to cope with this shell of a team? I don't know. Some hard stuff, though. Brandon, I do agree, not fully. Keith putting Timo on the left wing is my only head scratcher, but as a whole, Sleepy Fitz put a team of players that can't score into a soccer net. Brian, when I look at this team offensively, I don't know. I don't see how it's going to get better. We are at best a two-line team. That's why we can't beat good teams, because they're much deeper than us. Yeah, for sure. The bottom six is just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Brandon says he was left wing most of the season and got moved to right wing at the end and became the #1 NHL player until the end of the season. Yeah, led the league in goals in March. On the right wing, on power play 1 under Travis Green. Stanley 62495, prepared to be slapped in the face, Ace. There's a track record here. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Brian, this game is not on Markey. There's nothing he could have done about this game. We were destined to lose this game no matter what. It certainly seems that way, but my God, to have the fake comeback. Keith post-game spoke about lack of intelligence. I look forward to watching all that after this. I just immediately jumped on here. Chico says, if Fitz does nothing, I'm going to every home game for the rest of the season and chanting fire Fitz the entire time. Joey Glocks, Fitz needs to be fired. Needed to fix the bottom 6 for months now and has done nothing. Ritter Engine, too many passengers on the shit team. Samuel, the icing question should have never come up. Skate the damn puck another 5 feet before you clear it. Plenty of open ice. That is true. It is a bonehead play, but in the end, the icing could not have been called as well. But yeah, don't even put yourself in that position. It's unfortunate. John Face says, Traveling Devil, Bud, you still alive? I don't think I've heard or seen you say anything in the chat for a while. Plah, plah. We are definitely spiraling a bit, but the last 8 games are tough matchups, many on the road, and now dealing with Jack and Dougie injuries. Vegas twice, Dallas twice, Colorado, Utah, Preds. Mark says we could retain half of O'Reilly's salary when he's traded to another team. I'll be furious. Jem Cart says team looks depressed in the interviews. I'd imagine they would be. Dan, Ace, in all honesty, who are we getting at the deadline that would have changed the outcome of tonight? Tonight's game, nobody. But again, look at the bottom 6. Look at some of their point totals and tell me there's not plenty of guys that would at least provide some sort of boost in the bottom 6. To sit by idly and just accept it is crazy. Mark, Fitz always seems to be making deals for some future that hasn't come. The future is bright, guys. Don't worry. The future is bright. John, quick question. Are you going to do a video about the trade and us getting I think he's 6'5", not 6'7". Let me see. I don't even think I have the strength to make any more videos. To be honest, it's painful for me to even come on here. He's 6'5", but it's a futures deal. It's nothing that's going to impact the team now. And it's like, I don't even want to waste my time on this. It's crazy. Yo, home, second line today, Palat, Mercer, Tatar, disaster. Krung says Palat and Tatar need to go. Mercer and Haller should also probably go too. At least the healthy blue line is solid. Yeah, well, that's not healthy anymore either. That's not healthy anymore either. And the question now becomes, supposedly the story was out there that Fitz was also looking for, aside from forward help, that he was also looking for a veteran defenseman. So now I'm curious, if he was looking for one before with Dougie down, you know, it seems like he didn't have faith in Nemitz going into the playoffs. And now it seems like your options are going to be heading into the playoff run and the playoffs themselves, Nemitz and Casey, or Nemitz and Hataka. Or, you know, Nemitz is still in there and you bring in a defender from the outside. But either way, it just seems like, you know, one terrible blow to this team after the next. And we're going to see what Fitz is made of now with, you know, less than 72 hours left before the deadline. Death to Kong just came to click the like button. I'm done. Good night. Thanks for that. You hit the button for your boy. Thanks for that. Death to Kong. Blackatron. Plot needs to be bought out. Trade Hall immediately. $3.1 million for Hall was an overpay at the time, and I stand by it. He's worth half that. I don't know who's taking that though. Who's going to take? Who is going to take Hall on? I don't think anybody. Smash that like, guys. Gem card, a big trade could change the momentum. That's our only hope. Otherwise, we might as well sell if we ain't bringing in a big name. Call me crazy, but I do think a couple tweak type pieces for the bottom 6 even makes us better than we are today. We're in the playoffs as of right now. Am I expecting us to go on this deep run anymore? No, I'm not. I'm really not. Anything could happen. I'll hold out hope for it and cheer for the team, but just get there. Just friggin' get there. Mark says Fitz is emailing all Devils employees to see if any of them have kids that are prospects. Fitz is in talks to get his son with the Devils. Oh, man. Jonah, even without Jack, I feel like our roster is still stronger than the Wings and Blue Jackets. Maybe not Rangers. A 4-point lead should be enough to keep. A 4-point lead is nothing with this much time left. I mean, it's crazy. Brian J. Ace, I understand you want to go to the playoffs at all costs, but this team can't compete against playoff teams the way it's constructed, if we miss the playoffs, maybe they fire Fitz. I don't think missing the playoffs is going to fire Fitz. And so for the people hoping like we miss the playoffs because Fitz is going to get fired, I think you're going to be disappointed. Furthermore, you have to make the playoffs. Loser mentality to anything else, make the playoffs. And, you know, you could say that they can't compete with playoff teams, but in the end, they competed with the Stars tonight. Even though we got handled for a lot of the game, in the end, they did compete. We were 4 seconds away from going to overtime. I mean, that is a compete. Brandon says, I can guarantee you Sleepy Fitz has so much pressure for a trade, he's going to trade something stupid that will cost us in the future. I hope not. I certainly hope not. Yes, some of you guys are ruthless in the chat. Mark, going to revisit 2003 Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 sometime soon. Jeff Friesen, now he was one hell of a player. Yeah, they don't make him like that anymore. Yo, Holmes, Fitz built this. Indeed, he did. This is his team. And his team he's going to have to fix. Ryan Fisher, Pesci is good. He also just changed to his weak hand on D for the good of the team. He's just a defensive defenseman. No complaints about Pesci from me. SJ, Devils look better than I expected this game. The Stars jumped on early, but the Devils didn't fold like they do too many times. Yeah, I'm surprised. You know, the comeback was a bit of a shock to me. I thought for sure at one point, you know, the game was going to end 4 or 5-1. That they were going to kind of fold up, like you said. We saw it against the Avalanche last week. Chico, Timo to right wing is such a brain dead correct move that Travis Green did it immediately and convinced the rest of the league he's a good coach. Well, not you know, a lot of people don't believe it, Chico. That you know the left with the both wings, it doesn't matter either one, left or right. Mark, Fitz needs to be gone, and we need a replacement who can untangle this mess he created. It's quite the mess. I have no idea where to even begin. I mean, obviously, you think there's just so many things, man. I just want to make the playoffs. I don't even want to think about next year. Joey Glocks, Keefe needs to keep Meier on the right wing, and we need to get some depth players. Devils should push for Mikko Rantanen. I have no interest in Rantanen. The fact that Fitz supposedly reached out to Carolina about him, I thought was stunning and psychotic, if I'm being honest. I mean, what assets would you give up to get him? And then you're renting, you're using him as a pure rental. I have no interest in signing him at $12 million plus long term. And so when I heard the Rantanen stuff, I think it might be a sign that Fitz may have really lost his mind. Most crazy all the time. Curious about y'all's opinion on this possible trade. NJ sends Nemitz, Casey in 2 seconds for Tage Thompson. It's an interesting one. I don't know how realistic that is. Nemitz and Casey, I think, stings. I don't think we would trade both of them. If we could somehow swap something else in place of one of the two of them, I think it'd be interesting. Chico, Fitz can salvage this team's mentality. I think if he brings in Donato and Raquel tonight or tomorrow, don't wait for the deadline. Act now. Oh boy, I think Donato would be as good as it gets. Raquel and Donato, my God, I think that would be. If you're expecting something like that again, I think you're going to be disappointed. I don't think he has that in him. I hope I'm proven wrong, but Marshall, Fitz isn't getting fired. Jack injury probably gives him now, and no one really talks about it. But Harris and Blitzer don't really give an F about this team. Commanders and Jaden on the come up. Well, Marshall, we've been talking about that a lot. Maybe you haven't been around here in a while. But a lot of people think, you know, not being a priority for an ownership group is very problematic. Mark, Fitz has made so many more bad decisions than good ones. The Hellebuck deal sticks to my craw the most, followed by desperation Palat signing. Stanley Ratio is the biggest loser here. Imagine being fired and watching a certified putz like Fitzgerald manage his team into oblivion. Yo, Holmes, story was people in the locker room were crying again. Second game in a row with people crying. What have we come to? We've come to a sorry team, man. A sorry team. Allison, Keefe insisting on constantly rolling 4 lines and playing Halla and Pals in the final minute of the game is an insane coaching decision. I mean, I don't know. I could see both sides of that. Really, the game was lost on. I hate to roast Kovacevic for it, but in the end, it was a bonehead play to ice the puck there. Even though it was a questionable icing, you got to be smarter in that scenario. And couldn't have happened at a worse time with Nico not out there on the ice. Rich says no one was crying. Amanda Stein was being dramatic in her interview. Chico says regarding a 4-point lead should be enough to keep. A 4-point lead is a bad weekend. It's absolutely not safe at all. Oh, you're preaching to the choir. I'm petrified at this point. Like I said, I hit the panic button 5 weeks ago, and I wish Fitz did too. The writing was on the wall, and yeah, 2 games. Well, think about this. We just lost 2 games in a row, right? So you do that again, and the other team wins a couple. That's it. The lead is officially gone, and now you're bumped. You are bumped into the wild card death match. Matt, just watched the post game. Timo and Dylan were in tears, and Keith looks like he regrets coming here. Total depression. You can tell they care, but just careless play. Horrible. Brandon Ace, was just me, or when you see the lines this morning, did it make you realize how shit our team is? Like our bottom 6 is much worse than I thought. No, I've known it's been bad for a while, but when one injury to Jackhughes makes you go from a 2-line team to a 1-line team, it is devastating stuff. Devastating stuff. Ride and respect is just unfortunate and quite disheartening. A lot of dead weight that needs to be replaced. So much uselessness in this roster. Couldn't agree more. A lot of work cut out for Fitz or whoever is the GM of this team in the summer. There's a lot of work that needs to be done once again. It is crazy. I really I didn't see us struggling this much. I'm not going to lie. I thought we were going to be a very good team, and we were at December. For whatever the hell happened, it all just fell apart. It all just fell apart. Eagle, we need to average 3 goals a game. Our goalies are good enough to get us to the playoffs, so we could do that. Now we just need to find 3 goals every game. It was hard for us to find 3 goals every game when Jackhughes was in the lineup. I think expecting to score 3 every night now without Hughes is really asking for a lot. I don't know. I'm just devastated, guys. This has been completely a dark night. A very dark night. Hotter than fire. Baffles me how Fitz has not made a trade, and we have looked like shit for about 2 months now. I'm just so pissed off about this team. The joy I had earlier in the season watching this team is gone. Oh, that joy's been gone for me for a very long time. Salvatore, Jim McKenzie would have never allowed crying in his locker room. Shout out to Big Jim. What an old school legend. Man, I miss those old guys so much. The old school Devils, what characters, what heart and soul guys we had. Jack, unless the team acquired at least 2 forwards by Friday, the team and organization is unserious. Matt, agree. Harris and Blitzer are the problem. Since they took over, it's just been a far cry from the Devils hockey we've been used to. RA, we are scratching and clawing to avoid missing the playoffs 11 out of the last 13 years. The horrendous position you could have never convinced me would ever be. At Christmas, playoffs weren't even making the playoffs wasn't even on my radar in terms of being in jeopardy. I was like, we're making the playoffs. The only question for me at that point was how high of, what seed were we going to finish? Were we going to win the division? And here we are. RA, when I was hammered in the Meadowlands parking lot after Game 7 of the finals in 2003, it's been a steep fall. A super steep fall indeed. Just a complete nosedive. A complete nosedive for this team. Plah, plah. For what it's worth, Columbus and Rangers schedules, upcoming schedules are rough. Take a peek. Yeah, but I can't take solace in that. This friggin' team needs to win. Scott, absolute brutal loss. It's devastating how the season has turned out. Before the Christmas break, this looked like a title contending team. Disgusting and brutal. I agree, and that's what makes it even worse. At the break, it did not seem... We were being picked by... we were being picked by some writers and people like as a team to go on a deep playoff run, and it wasn't crazy. It wasn't crazy to think that they were capable because of how they looked. They looked like a force. We looked like a force to be reckoned with. And here we are, a little over 2 months later, just talking about another season that might be down the tubes. It just can't happen. Mark says, remember when we were laughing at the Rags earlier in the season, prepare to eat crow. Oh, boy. That's something, obviously, I've explained in depth growing up in northern New Jersey, how I've been surrounded by Rangers fans and, for years and years, just surrounded with these people and how I can't stand them. And for sure, they will be coming out of the woodwork. Salvatore, problem with our lack of depth is who do we replace guys like Palat and Haula with? Has anyone in Utica shown enough to stay up? Legary had some jam, but he needs more time. I liked Legary. I thought Hallinan didn't get a fair shot, but in the end, we're gonna have to sign some guys in free agency, either that or in conjunction with other trades. But looks like there's a lot of work to be done once again in the summer, and it's unfortunate. Despite all the offseason moves this past summer, which I thought were going to help us be a much better team, and it did to some extent for a while, it all just fell apart. And it's just one of those crazy things. I don't ever recall a Devils team anyway, looking so good at that point of the season and then just becoming a different team. True Patriot, haven't enjoyed this team for quite some time. I'm checked out with my emotional well-being intact. I wish I could say the same. I'm damaged right now. Shaba, just hopping into the stream now. It's a shitty call by the refs, but brain dead play by Kovacevic, and Eric Haula, who has been hurting the team, had to win one faceoff and fails. I mean, yeah, for sure. Kovacevic should have never put us in that position. Didn't think the icing had to be called. The defender was there. And Haula lost a big draw. It's terrible. Samuel, what really freaks me is how many of these guys have long-term contracts. Who's going to be stupid enough to take them off our hands? For some of these guys, nobody. There's literally no market for some of these guys. That is just the honest reality of it. Some of the guys we have, in conjunction with their contracts, are virtually untradeable. Now, could some of them be moved in a deal if we're giving up some sort of picks or prospects to sweeten the pot and possibly retention on top of that? Probably. But then you have to look at it, and at what point is it like a net negative to make the move if you're going to be retaining on a guy like, say, Palat? If you're going to be retaining a chunk on him, is it still worth going through, or are you just better off riding it out? I don't know, but they're going to have a lot of things to look at this summer for sure. It's crazy. Allison, Fitz will do a stupid post-trade deadline press conference and say it takes two teams to want to make a deal, and that hasn't stopped any other teams from improving prior to the deadline. I really hope not. That would be like the fatality blow, just the knife in my chest. Samuel, and how many of those teams right behind us have games in hand? 4 points ain't really 4. Yeah, you look at, let's just see. Columbus is 4 points behind us with 2 games in hand. Exactly. So they win both their games in hand, they're tied with us. The Rangers also have 2 games in hand, and they have 66 points. So if they won both of their games in hand, they're 2 points behind. It's crazy. The Red Wings right there with 61 games played, 66 points. The Senators, 60 games and 65 points. I mean, yeah, you're talking about, if again, it's a big assumption, but assuming all these teams win their 2 games in hand, there's like 5 teams that would be within that. I would say we have a 3-point lead on. Canadians, Senators, Red Wings, Rangers, Blue Jackets. Insane. Chico, additions need to come ASAP, and Timo Meier needs to be gorilla glued to the right side. You probably won't see it. You'll still see him on the left somehow. It's crazy. Mark, what moves can we make over the summer? I know the cap is going to go up. We still can't do much. If Fitz stays, I doubt this team is going to be desirable for potential top flight UFAs. I'm not talking about top flight. I'm just talking about bottom 6 guys. We have a bunch of money coming off. There'll be some money to play with, but I don't think there's going to be any big acquisitions. More, I think, tweak pieces, but it's a disaster. It's a disaster. Larry, the team is built flawed. Not saying Pesci's a bad player, but the Devils spent too much assets on right D. I've been screaming for a top 6 winger with some grit for the last 2 years. Yeah, probably the single biggest need. Single biggest need is a gritty top 6 winger. I would agree. Stanley, the only thing that sticks out to me from that time period and really burns my ass was how there was a full court press to erase our identity and turn this into Pittsburgh East. There was something like that, I would say. But where has any of this gotten us? Despite winning the draft lottery how many times and getting gifted 2 number 1 overall picks, getting Nico and Jack with those picks, and then we get the number 2 pick and we pick Nemitz and the number 4 with Luke. We use the number 7 on Holtz. I mean, it's just been, you combine a couple bad draft picks, first-round draft picks, that is. You couple that with some bad contracts like Palat, and you look at a team that is essentially handcuffed without a great path going forward. I mean, it is a mess. Jay Snow, they were saying tonight Halla can't play center. Where's Fitz been? But we're so jackhughes went down, so our terrible center depth got even worse. Mercer had to get pushed back to center. It's all just a mess. Ryan Fisher, how do you fix it? I'd start by playing Big Mac and let him kill everybody. I mean, that would be nice. I would like to see that. True Patriot can't listen anymore. Disgusted. I can't blame you. Jay Snow, I like Tatar and Palat's game tonight. They had some hustle out there, but in the end, we lose, and who cares? Chico, John Leonard, winger, 40 points in 51 AHL games, 26 no NHL contract. If no one will sign him, what do you have to lose? The odd man rushes were disgusting. Jack, well, that's it. Fitz has waited as long as he possibly could regarding improving the team. Well, no, as long as he possibly could is going to be Friday at, I guess, like 2:50 something. I think it's 3 o'clock, right? I think it's 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern. Oh, boy. This is one of my most anticipated trade deadlines in a while. Yo, Holmes, so if Jack and Hamilton go on LTIR until the playoffs, does Fitz actually make a big splash or two with the cap relief? No. Yo, Holmes, what pieces is he going to use to bring in a guy that'd be considered a big splash? I mean, what do we even have to trade to make a big splash? It's not like, oh, you have all this LTIR money, now you can just go get players for free. You still have to trade for them. Jay Snow, I'm devastated after tonight. This is the most heartbreaking loss. I still can't believe it. Well, that makes 2 of us. I really think Fitz might punt on this year. The writing is on the wall, and with Dougie going down, oh god, it's certainly it's honestly probably probable now. It went from a fair concern to now probably what I would consider likely. I hope I'm wrong. There's a whole locker room full of guys that deserve better, but the scare is there. The worry is certainly there. Brandon, why hasn't Cotter been playing with Jack all season? Why has Plot been on that line the entire season? For whatever reason, Keefe thinks that gives us the best and most balanced lineup, and so that's what you saw. We saw, I think Cotter, he's at least played the start of a game with him there, and then a couple shifts in random games, I believe. You've seen it, but in terms of seeing them as a line, like for the long term in a game, it hasn't happened. Chico, my point is basically I refuse to accept Fitz's it takes 2 to tango because there's so many types of moves he could be making that he refuses to consider. Jay Snow, Dougie's another one who can't stay healthy. I mean, yeah, what are the odds that in consecutive seasons, Jackhughes, nicohischier, and Dougie Hamilton, 3 of our best players, all have some sort of injury in both seasons? That is just completely horrific luck. 3 of your top players all get injured on back-to-back years. What are the odds of this? It's crazy. Stanley says Fitz punts every year because he sucks at his job. Samuel, dollars to pickled fish Fitz does nothing. Jay Snow, I don't think they trust Cotter's defense higher up in the lineup. Stanley says, I know the Rangers get preferential treatment, but I'm sorry, there's no defending Fitzgerald after seeing what Jury was able to do. He's got to go. Absolutely awful at his job. Chico says, what's delusional about that? I'm not saying they're going to find a point-per-game player, but you might be able to find bottom 6 upgrades there. Yo, Holmes, with the money available, Devils should be able to assume larger contracts for peanuts from teams looking to dump. Yeah, but if they're not bad contracts, don't you think other teams will be looking for guys like that too that have cap space? I mean, maybe he's just got to call everybody in the league and see who's open for business and who's looking to dump. But do you have any specific guys in mind, Yo Holmes? It's just crazy, man. I just can't believe this loss tonight. It would have been such a high if we somehow pulled it off. It would have been one of the highest highs of the season. God. Mark, sign Jonathan Taves, trade him to Winnipeg for a career AHLer and retaining half of Taves' salary. Dylan in tears in the post game. Nancy says, anyone else think we should trade Nemitz? I would if the right deal presented itself. But now I'm starting to wonder, like, if we're really going to do much of anything. Given Jack's injury and Nemitz and Dougie Hamilton's injury, this just might be a slow bleed out, which would be painful. We're just going to slowly just bleed out like a guy that got shanked in an alleyway, that got shanked 8 times by multiple assailants, just laying there slowly leaking out before we lose consciousness and ultimately pass away. Brandon, I think our core is way too injury prone. We can never complete a season with half the team on leave. Completely agree there as well. It's just terrible. If it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. Jack says the deadline is going to make or break Fitz's job. If they miss the postseason this year, he's got to go. Ride and respect, not even sure anyone outside of Mercer and maybe hopefully still Nemitz would fetch anything back of worth. Nobody wants the rest of the bums on this team that should be traded, to be fair. I agree. I said our only pieces really heading into this deadline are Nemitz or Casey, potentially Dawson Mercer, and then our 3 second-round picks. And then obviously if he wants to start dangling our 2026 first-round pick, we obviously don't have one this year. We sent it to Calgary in the Markstrom deal, but we have a first next year. I do believe Fitz would try to keep that for next year. Is he even going to be here? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he just loses his mind completely and starts shopping the first round pick for next year in conjunction with some of these other pieces. Allison, there's almost no one on this roster that I wouldn't trade at this point. Mark says, Josh Harris, I own a hockey team. Jay Snow, it would have been a gigantic win with no Jack and only playing 5 D-men. Yeah. Highest of the highs and lowest of the lows. What a swing. What a difference 4.8 seconds makes. We were right there from stealing a point on the road. It would have been a massive point with the chance to get the W, to get that dub in overtime or the shootout, and it just got away from us off of it was a bonehead play by Kovacevic, and it was a bad call by the refs. I mean, I do think Harley could have played that puck. And here we are. Jack, McCann, Raquel, Zucker, Donato, O'Reilly, Shen, just a few guys that could come in and make an impact. Agree with you across the board. I think some of those guys would be super expensive. I think some of the teams holding those guys would be looking for a first rounder. Could we potentially sway them with some sort of other package? Probably. I'm very curious to see how this all goes, though. Fitzy's got about 3 o'clock, 72, minus 9, 88 hours to go. 88 hours till the trade deadline. Or no, I'm sorry, not 88. 63. 63 hours to go. Jay Snow, I don't have a freaking remote right now. It's in 100 pieces. Yeah. Fitz. Dude, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. Mark Costanza, Fitz contacted the Mets to see if he could retain half of Bobby Bonilla's remaining salary. Oh, shit. I have to take a picture of this and send it to my buddy. For those that don't know, that's a reference to that Bobby Bonilla. What was that? Like he signed a deal, like some weird thing where the Mets had to pay him for 20-something years or something. It's some wild and crazy thing. Bobby Bonilla. Oh, man. Jay Snow, I trade the 2026 first as long as we got a guy with terms. So would I. There was, I don't know if it was a credible rumor, but I could have sworn I saw a report in the past couple days that the St. Louis Blues would consider trading Jordan Kyrou, and he's a guy I would love to get. And obviously, I believe he would be very expensive to get in a trade package, and I think you would have to give up at a minimum the first of next season plus, maybe even plus. But like, I would kick the tires to St. Louis. Like, does the first from next year? I think for him, I'd give up next year's first, one of the seconds from this year, and Nemitz, and that might not even be enough. But I would certainly try. I would love Kyrou. Jason, when they iced the puck, I just freaking knew it. Jack, outside of the first line tonight, there were 3 guys of any value: Mercer, Cotter, Nason. The other 6 are passengers, nothing more. Chico, I'm going to pay one of those TikTok witches to make Donato and Raquel to the Devils happen. Samuel, amazing how one damn point can cause this much depression. Isn't it crazy? It's just the violent nature of the swing. We were seconds away from getting the 1 point with the chance to get 2, and it ends up being a devastating loss where we get no points, and it's just so we're down bad right now. Ben Jamin, there's no grit, no guts, not to mention how slow this team looks. I've almost given up hope. Mark, if Fitz is a seller, then he needs to basically strip this team to its bones. Oh, boy. Jack, I'd be upset if Casey and Nemitz are still Devils at 301 on Friday. Both of them? There's no way he's trading both of them. Val S says, meanwhile, Muhammad got 4 points in the last 3 games. Ryan, Nemitz and 4 firsts for a bottom 6 winger knowing Fitz. Husky Unchained, here's Ace trying to do math against Cy. I'm actually very good at math, believe it or not. But I was doing the days. I'm like 9 hours less than 3 days from now. That's exactly what it is. So it's 63. My brain is not functioning properly. It's probably the Dirty Devil. Blame it on the Dirty Devil. Win or lose, we booze, guys. Marty's Vodka, Dirty Devil. I'll do another bottle shot for that. For the road. Anyone know the Devils' record this season with Justin Dowling in the lineup? I mean, he's played so many games. Scott, the Devils have to pay Bobby Bonilla $1 million every July 1st until 2035. Oh my God, I thought it was closer to the end. That's crazy. Samuel, one more Johnny Black, and I go off. Cheers to you, Samuel. Enjoy that Johnny Black. HZ Neon, assuming Dougie's out for a bit, then Nemitz and Casey will have to be in the lineup. Then if we trade one of them, we have a massive hole in defense, so either way we are screwed. I don't know why. I don't think Fitz and Keefe would want to play both of them in the lineup for this stretch. So I do think maybe they send Casey back down and you have Nemitz and Hataka. Or Fitz wanted a veteran defenseman before Dougie went down, so now I imagine he probably really wants one. So you might see, if Nemitz is traded, I think in that scenario you would see whoever the new defenseman is and Hataka. There's a lot of combos, but it's just crazy how this all just unfolded. Jack says Casey and Nemitz, I want one out the door. Yeah, one of them would be our biggest trade piece to bring in forward help, in my opinion. SJ, if they're asking for a lot, then Fitz can't do anything. Don't think they want to trade Nemitz. Well, what else are you going to do, though? Plah, we have no big bodies from front of the net, and we can't keep the puck on our sticks or pass on the tape. Brandon Thomas, what's Stefan Nason's contract? If he's a free agent, I don't think he's signing back. Do we trade him, assuming he's going to be a free agent? No, we just signed him. I think it was a 3-year deal. We just signed him this past summer. Yeah, 3-year deal. He's got 2 more years after this. Chico says team might need both without Siegs and Dougie. Jack, I don't want Casey and Nemitz on the team after Friday. Want to see one of them go. And regardless of what happens the rest of the season, if Fitz is the GM after the season, I'm going to crash out. I think he probably will be. Jason says Hataka's got to come up. Jack, you're right. Or they could trade for a veteran guy who's actually a lefty so he can play his natural side. LHM, going to have to get you a jug of Dirty Devil for the off-season ace. I think I'm running out. I had a bunch of bottles. I just opened this one earlier today. I'm running out, though, for sure. Jack says, no way you play Nemitz and Casey. I think think that that's kind of where the team is at. So we're going to see. I'm curious to see what they do for the game Friday, right? I mean, I don't expect to see maybe you do see both of them in there, but if I had to bet on it now, I think you finally see Hataka get the call. Jay Snow says, no way, too inexperienced. Mark, Fitz goes crazy, signs Rantanen and Pettersson and orders Keefe to play them both in goal. He then something upset and declares himself the new team captain. Fitz on Friday, I think it was smart to stand pat. Didn't want to make a panic move. It's smart to finish the year strong, see what happens, and look to the offseason. Oh, God. I could see something like that. I'll be furious. I'll lose my mind. Brandon Thomas, thank God for that Stefan Nason. Only good thing Fitz has done in his career. Ace, what kind of voodoo black magic do you think Vegas gets away with this deadline? We're going to find out, but they're always trying. They're always trying. And if you're a Vegas fan, you have to be thrilled knowing that your team is going to do everything they can to keep pushing the envelope and trying to win another cup. I mean, wow. What a ride it's been for Vegas fans, and not even that long of a time. You've seen immediate success. I think they went to the finals their first year in existence. And then won a cup. It's crazy. Stefan, you guys calling for Casey to be traded. Are you drunk? Sure, they need forward help, but are you really willing to give up Casey for a mid-forward? I'm not. I like Casey. I would rather trade Nemitz than Casey, but I don't want to trade Nemitz for a quote-unquote mid-forward either. I think a guy like McCann would kind of be the bottom of the line for me. With term, he has 2 more years. I think push comes to shove, I would include Nemitz in a deal for McCann. I'm not saying 1 for 1, but I think you have to make that deal if it's there. G-Flow, 25, 12, and 4 with Dowling in the lineup. Husky Unchained, trading has got to be tough when many players don't want to play here. Stanley, I may tune in Friday just to hear the crowd call for Booze Face's head after no deals are made and the Devils are trailing by 3 at the end of the first. Oh, I hope not. I really hope that's not our reality. Chico, the Rantanen Hall trade for the Canes didn't quite pan out like they wanted so far, but at least they did something. The fact that this has gone on for so long already, holy shit, man. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. The problem signs were there. He hoped and wished it was going to fix itself. It did not. We're struggling even more now. Now we have all the injuries to overcome, and it just, man, I'm just down. I'm down right now. It could end up being too much for this team to overcome, and I hope that's not the case. Hopefully they find a way to rise above, but this is a lot of bad hands we've been dealt in the past week. LHM, it's gotten so bad I found myself watching 2023 Round 1 Series highlights. That'd obviously be Rangers. My God. Allison E., I think it's more likely that Fitz makes some really boneheaded panic moves to preserve his job rather than doing nothing. I hope that doesn't happen. That would be a travesty. Jack says, first time LHM. Chico, like, how do you not pony up one of the 3 second-rounders for Taylor Hall before the Canes, who didn't need to do anything? Yeah, I said for the right price, I was interested in Taylor Hall. In my opinion, that was a perfect low-risk, high-reward move. Maybe the team vetoed it. There, obviously, with his history here, some of those guys were here, Nico and Bratter, but 5 or 6 weeks ago, I put out a video talking about exploring a Taylor Hall reunion, and one of the conditions I said was assuming that he wants to be here, and he said he's going to be a team player and accept whatever role he was given, and the guys that were here, like nicohischier and jesperbratt, said they thought it was a good idea, I would have been all on board making that move. But you snooze, you lose. Yo, Holmes, do we start a booze face chant at the Rock? Man, I think Luke would be so proud that his booze face moniker has really stuck around. Ryan Respect says Jay Snow, it was a nepotism trade. Van Walen, first game without Hughes. It's not that bad, guys. The team held their own. Bad luck last 2 minutes. Everyone looking to gut this team already. Van Walen, it's not just this game, man. It's been over 2 months of lackluster hockey. Chico, I'm trying to hang on until the trade deadline, but holy shit, I'm about ready to entirely turn on Fitz right here and now. I'm waiting till Friday. I am waiting till Friday. Jay Snow, we can create chances, man. We just can't find the net. It's crazy. Jack, Ace, gun to your head. Do the Devils make the postseason? I want to say yes. Just off the strength of Markstrom. And because we have a small lead right now. I would like to believe yes, but maybe that's my final act of delusional optimism. I'm not sure, but I do say yes. And then Jack put a gun to my head again. How many trades are made by Friday involving moving players in? 1 or 2. It's either 1 or 2, I think. 1 or 2. It's hard. I could see it going either way. Stanley, hey, Tom, if you're by some chance reading this, GFY, and that doesn't mean good for you. Jason, I don't think Hall's had a point since Thanksgiving. He hasn't. It's terrible. Jack, Hall not having a point since before Thanksgiving is funny. Can't say anything more than that at this point. It's so unfathomable. It really is. Ride and respect Shane LaChance's father, Scott LaChance, was the head of U.S. scouting for the team. Jay Snow, Hall couldn't even get us a face-off win. You guys are brutal, man. Brutal. Chico, the Devils team is still making the postseason, but it's most likely in a wild card spot. Brandon, okay, Ace, before we get to the final trade deadline, what is your prediction on what Fitz is going to trade? My prediction, assuming he isn't asleep, we're going to have 0 draft picks and lose Casey. I hope not. I still think he doesn't trade one of them at the deadline. I think he might trade multiple second rounders and maybe some prospects not named Casey or Salayev or Yegorov, but who knows? At this point, to me, all bets are off, and I can't even make a sensible prediction anymore. Once it was reported that he called Carolina to inquire about Rantanen, when I heard that, I was like, that can't be real. But it seems like I think multiple credible places have reported it, and so it probably is true, and that is very alarming to me because that means, we're in insane times right now. What are we calling on Rantanen for? A division rival you think is going to trade you Rantanen? Furthermore, the guy's unrestricted. What are you going to send them? What do we even have to offer for a guy that could be a rental? And even if he wasn't a rental, I wouldn't want to pay him what the rumors are saying that he wants in terms of a contract. So when I heard the Rantanen thing, I said, we're living in Crazy Town now. We've taken a trip down to Crazy Town. Van Walen, East is weak. Devs make it to the playoffs, but it's an early out. That's what you get with Keefe. LHM, I envy you, man. I became a fan of this team during 2018-2019 season. Oh, poor you. Been diehard ever since, but it hasn't been a lot to cheer for. I wish I could have been old enough to watch the dynasty years. Man, look behind me. This is all dynasty years. This was, we were a proud franchise, a perennial playoff contender, 3 Stanley Cups, lost in 2 other cup finals. I mean, wow, you weren't even here for the 12. LHM, how old are you, man? Man, 18, 19. You came in, so you only know one playoff team. You don't even know the Taylor Hall Drags playoff team. Jay Snow says he's not trading Nemitz. Fitz has got no balls. Jack, exactly, Van Wellen. The year is wide open. There's no, hey, this is the team to beat. It's anyone's conference. Go for it. The goaltending and defense foundations are both there. That's my thoughts, Jack. I'm not saying I have a good feeling about this team any longer, but you must just get into the playoffs and anything can happen. I could not be on that wavelength any more than I already am. Just get in and hope for the best. The only thing Fitz is just fart in his hand and gas mask himself. Oh, boy. Jay Snow, I don't know if ownership will even let him go if we miss the playoffs. At this point, I don't think so. Chico, my prediction, Casey, all 3 seconds, 2026 first, foot out. Raquel Donato and McCann in. Dude, Chico, you are out of your mind, dude. You are out of your mind. I'll tell you this. I would sign up for that in a heartbeat. Let me think about this. Casey, the seconds, the first foot. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If we parted with Casey, the seconds, and next year's first and brought in Raquel Donato and McCann, that ain't never happening, dog. You're either drinking tonight or I don't know. But there's no way, man. That would be if somehow this happens, I'll make a video giving you props for eternity. I don't think we're going to get one. I think at best we get one of those guys. And the one I think that could be the most likely is Donato. You're talking about Raquel and McCann. Oh my God. That would be wild. Jay Snow, maybe Fitz will. Allison, that Rantanen thing confirmed my theory about seeing panic moves on Friday. I agree. If that's real, I don't know how that's real. How could that even be real? Calling about Rantanen? It's just so insane. Brandon, only reason I think we're trading Casey is that we're really scared to play Casey and leave him in the lineup. I think he's gone. It's a fair point. I could see that happening, and they pick Nemitz. It totally could happen. He's Luke's boy, though. That might play a part, for better or for worse. Stanley Ace, they don't call him Booze Face for nothing. Only someone drunk off his ass phones a rival to make an inquiry like that. That's true. Jay Snow, I don't know if we'll ever see another cup. That's so depressing. I know. I've come to the realization probably in the past like 5 to 7 years, I was like, I just want to see one more at this point. When I was younger, I was like, I might see 4 or 5 more in my life. But that was now 22 years ago since the last cup. Now I'll settle for one. I will settle for one cup. LHM just turned 22. I never saw the Taylor Hall years, unfortunately. Well, they weren't anything so great. I mean, it was a Herculean effort by him to get us to the playoffs. But enjoy your youth, man. One day you're going to be old like me. And I hope for your sake, sometime in the future, you see a competitive Devils team, because all you know is mediocre teams since your fandom began. How did you get into the Devils, LHM? So you're 22 and you became a fan like when you were like 15-ish, I guess. Stanley says, LHM, find a new team. Trust me. Jay Snow says, Raquel getting a huge return by himself. I agree. I think teams would offer a ton for him. Mark, Donato is a distinct possibility. I mean, he is the son of a former NHLer. Select a boy. I really hope they don't trade Casey. I like Casey as well. I personally would prefer to keep him over Nemitz. I know a lot of people are on the other side of that, and there's people that would want to keep both. But with the pressing needs we have at this point, but it's so crazy now. With Siegenthaler out, now Dougie, it's just like we can't catch a break, man. We really can't catch a break. Vic, well, reports said Fitz was all in this year's deadline. Doesn't surprise me he inquired about Rantanen. Quite frankly, I wouldn't mind him. I don't want Rantanen. He's not the answer. And those stories about Fitz being all in was before Jack got hurt and before Dougie got hurt. So everything changes now. Everything is different with 2 of your better players down. Jack, Seattle willing to retain on Tanev. Probably Gordy as well. McCann also there too. Obviously, there's a package right there. Go get 2 of those 3. Give up Nemitz in a second. Maybe Mercer. Go and do it. Jason, watch him bring an old Palmieri back. I could totally see that happening. Jay Snow, remember we used to be a team nobody effed with. Now we're this soft as baby shit team. Imagine the legends looking at this garbage. It's the fall from grace has just been. It's just been painful to witness. I mean, listen. Again, I sound like a broken record here, but. We once were a proud franchise, a playoff team every single season. And here we are talking about we're just hoping to make the playoffs in a wild card spot after we were one of the top 4 teams in the league just 2 months ago. Stanley, did Booze Face contact Edmonton and inquire about McDavid? It's possible. Brandon, I don't think we're winning anything with this core. We will do another 10-year rebuild and be good. I think the organization learned a lot from our core being too weak, and I'm sure they're going for grit. Oh, man. Select a boy. I just lost my spot here. 2012 was when I became a Devils fan after watching that 95 Cup run. Very nice. So were you a fan when the team at least made the fun run to the finals? That was at least something. Yo, Holmes, I feel so bad for these younger fans who have no clue how truly great and tough this team was. I know. We're officially the old guys now, yo, Holmes. Talking about back in my day. It's crazy. Chico, back in the day, no matter how bad of a day you had, you knew you could turn on the Devils game and probably see a good win. All the way up to 2012. I took it for granted and missed it so much now. Yeah, I think we all did. We were witnessing a mini dynasty. It was a mini dynasty, and now we're at the point of just disgust. Just pure disgust. There's really no other way to put it. Ride and respect. If this team somehow misses the playoffs this season, I'm never allowing myself to get hyped in the offseason ever again. I'll be hyped whenever this team clinches a playoff spot next. I wish I could. I'll try. I would try to take up that kind of approach myself, but I just can't help myself. I mean, these offseason moves were delicious. Markstrom, he's turned out to play amazing. Nason brought some toughness and way more scoring than we thought. Cotter's been smashing people. Pesci, Dillon. I mean, the moves outside of Tatar have worked out the way we wanted them to. It's just the rest of the team that was already here has gone rotten. Mark says Casey better than Nemitz. Whenever Casey comes into the lineup, he makes an impact. I'm a Casey guy. I think Nemitz could be a great defenseman one day too, but I'm all about Casey. I've liked him since the beginning. Ryan Fisher, is the core really the problem, or is it the rest of the nothings? The crazy part is, Ryan, it could be a combination of the both, man. It really could. I would say that the rest of the nothings would be the bigger problem, but the core seems to be a little flawed at a minimum as well. And when you put all of that together, here we are. Here we are just dooming in a live stream after a heartbreaking regular season loss with 4.8 seconds left. Salvatore, Fitz would probably sign the wrong Palmieri, Nick, and not even Kyle. Oh man, shout out to the Nick Palmieri era. I think that was during Kovalchuk, right? That was during the Covey era. Yeah. Stanley says, Chico, well said, man. I miss those days too. Listen, guys, I just remind myself of the glory years when I come in the studio and I reminisce. I look and I'm like, remember when we had this guy, the GOAT? And remember, you guys can't see it. Oh, let me see if I can hide it. I don't think you could really see it, but remember we had the crash line? Remember those guys? And then it's like Jason Arnott. Remember we won that cup? And remember we had the captain, Scott Stevens? And remember Claude Lemieux, Mr. Playoffs? Remember the Stanley Cup? Remember all of this? Remember all of this? It's all just reminders of a better time. And then I watch Heaven online and watch the highlights from the cup runs. Allison, I'm just glad this game wasn't on MSG. I don't think I could handle the disappointment in Dano's voice with how that game ended. He would have been gutted. Man, there would have been a great Dano soliloquy of some kind after that last goal. Oh my God, he would have been probably talking for minutes. Jay Snow, I don't know. The fact that Ace said this is Nico's 8th year makes me think this core might not be it. No shit, really? And I don't know if I blame the core or they've gone through some horrible front offices. But either way, it's his 8th season. Jesperbratt's 8th season. I think this is Hughes' 6th season. It's, how many years do you say you need to give a core time to make damage, to do some damage? This is Jack's 6th season. This isn't, people talk like our core is in their 2nd or 3rd year. Season number 8 for Nico, season number 8 for Jesperbratt, season number 6 for Jackhughes. I mean, wow. LHM, thanks for looking out for me, y'all, but I chose this life. Got to carry the torch, and I'll love this team through the bullshit. Do you live in New Jersey, LHM? If you don't live in New Jersey, you're really a sick individual for going through this torture. Jason, no, the Devils aren't kids anymore. No, and they haven't been for a while. Jason, no, the window is sliding down now. Salvatore, I was at Game 7 in 03 when we won the Cup. I'd like to see another soon. I was at that game, one of the greatest nights of my entire life. What a time to be alive. What a game to be at. Jason, remember when our 4th line was Holik, McKay, and Peluso? I will never forget the Crashers. The Crashers are, in my opinion, the 2nd best line in Devils history, only to the A line. Mark, I became a fan in 1995. Living out in New Mexico, I didn't even know NJ had a team until the 1995 Stanley Cup Finals. Very nice. Benjamin, the crash line. Those were the days. Yes, they were. The Crashers, man. What an era. Van Walen, Ace, this Devs team has to completely rely on defense and goaltending to stay on track. Scoring is going to be the issue for this team. Yeah, of course. Markstrom gives them a chance to win every night, but when we're not scoring goals, it's ugly. He can't do it all. It seems like he has to hold the opposition to a goal or two for us to have the best chance to win. Selected boy, I'll believe the future is bright when the Devils go deep in the playoffs. You might be waiting a while for that, my man. LHM, I started watching when Blackwood took over the starter position for Snyder the season before the goalie carousel mess. Oh, boy, yeah, you really came into the Devils at a dysfunctional time. A truly dysfunctional time. Chico, on cores versus nothings, the core isn't perfect, but if the bottom 6 could just find a goal a game as a group, we wouldn't be talking about any problems at all. A goal a game? Jeez, Chico, what kind of expectations are those? I'd sign up for a goal a week, a goal a game. Oh, my God. What would that be, 7x their current production? Stanley, 8 years for Nico already. He's so out of here. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. And again, and that's why I say every year of the core is precious. I've been saying this for years amongst my Devils fans, friends, and on this channel since I've had the channel. Years go by super quick. Nicohischier is signed for 2 more years after this. He's been to the playoffs twice. Twice. He's won a single playoff round as a New Jersey Devil. One single round. Do you want to stick around for the second half of your career on this type of dysfunction? I certainly wouldn't. I certainly would not. Mark, Nick Palmieri was on the first line with COVID during 10-11. Husky, if you ever invited me over, that Arnott photo would be missing. I love that thing. Jace Dano with the oh my. Marcus Stanza and Jeff Friesen. Don't forget Jeff Friesen. Can never forget Jeff Friesen. Game 7, Eastern Conference Final hero on the road in Ottawa. What an unbelievable moment in Devils history. World's worst gamer. We have a goalie that is 3-0 with sub 1 goals against, and we send him down to keep Jake Allen on the roster. Yeah, that was expected. And he's talking about Nico Jaws Dawes going back to Utica. Natural Canopy Ace, I'm here, and I'm sorry. I love you, brother. But this right here really guts me. No jokes tonight. I'm just upset. Frankly, I'm depressed and ashamed. As am I. LHM, New Jersey, born and raised. Okay, so, welcome to the Misery Loves Company Club, my man. I was going to say, if you live in another state, there's no excuse for you to go through this pain and suffering. I would tell you just to adopt the closest team to you geographically. Select the boy, how many years are we going to keep hearing the future's bright before they make noise in the playoffs? Probably a while. I've been over the future's bright. Once we had that 22-23 record-setting season and beat the Rangers in the playoffs, I was over the future's bright. I'd never wanted to hear the future's bright anymore, and it's the future's now and win now. That's it. Completely it. Riot and respect, Hughes and Hischier are going to be old and grizzled vets on a team with a new core. I could see it now. I can't. I think it all goes to hell and people jump ship way before then. Yo, Holmes, crash line, brought home the bacon. Chico, I'll never forget seeing a replay of 1995 and Mike Peluso letting out those manly tears of victory and missing his last shift in a Game 4 versus Detroit. That's when you should be crying. Yeah. Trevor, with or without Hughes, still can't score those timely goals. Fitz on Friday. We are looking forward to the offseason. We have some great ideas. Excited for the draft. We are really building towards a great future here in New Jersey. I think, by and large, I don't think the fan base is going to accept that. There's going to be people who will. The people that I say constantly stroke it to the future being bright and talking about prospects and draft capital. I'm obviously not one of those people. I do think a small percentage of those people will be out kind of talking whatever nonsense they're going to talk in social media and online and wherever else. But I do think, by and large, a large percentage of the fan base will want blood. And I will be one of them for sure. Absolutely will be one of them. Benjamin, Mike Peluso straight up kick ass. He's not doing well, sadly. Involved in a pretty brutal work. Yeah, the thing with the concussions and all that. Allison, a goal in this calendar year would be nice for our bottom 6. Yeah, it really would be. Natural Canopy, maybe the trade deadline deals, which we know will happen, shakes his team up. But tonight, I don't want any breadsticks. I don't want no broccoli Rob. This is horrible. Jason says Nico will go win a cup somewhere else. I mean, Nico would be a phenomenal player for any team he goes on. But imagine like a team that has their shit together with other quality players and some dogs. Nico would be a great addition to any like real playoff team. Ryan, respect having both Hughes brothers helps keep both of them around. But yeah, Nico probably goes elsewhere for sure. Chico, it still kills me they traded Toffoli. He'd be third on the team in goals with his 24 right now. Chico, Toffoli would be so good in the system too. Skating was not really his strong suit. This slow and steady style would have him shining. Yeah, but you're going to pay him $6 million. Mark, adopt the closest team to me geographically, Colorado or Vegas. No thanks. I was actually talking to LHM, but had you adopted one of those teams, you would have seen a cup in the past few years for either one. Yo, Holmes, Fitz couldn't even trade Toffoli for legitimate assets, overpaid for every single unrestricted free agent, and now we are hoping he makes miracles. LHM, kind of incredible how he went from having league worst defense and goaltending, but great offense, to league best goaltending and defense and no offense. Not sure what happened. Yeah, that's the luck of the Devils, man. You fix the one problem and the other one becomes a problem. Any predictions on the trade deadline, Ace? My prediction is it's going to be underwhelming. I think we get a bottom 6 guy or maybe 2. But now with Dougie being hurt on top of Jack being hurt, I think it could really kind of change the outlook for Fitz, and maybe he does very little. I don't know. Jack, he should be a great 2C on like Dallas or Colorado or something. Competent organizations who know how to draft and who to sign and who to avoid. Yeah, I miss being one of those teams. Jay Snow, you think we get Jack news tomorrow? I do not. I don't think we hear anything about Jack until after the deadline, probably. I think they'll keep it close to the vest like they always do. And then we might hear something, Friday evening maybe after the Devils game and after the deadline. Mark, we would be spending $6 million on Toffoli, but we're also spending $6 million on Palat, so it's a wash. Well, yeah, but the difference is it's not a wash because Palat was here last year. So it's not like we picked Palat over Toffoli. We had no way to really pay Toffoli. I mean, we could have, but it would have really kind of hamstrung us for the free agents. Van Whalen and Chico, there's no upgrading that will have to come in the summer. Jack says Devils are off tomorrow. Vic says he's gone to Colorado. Not good news in reference to Jack. Jay Snow will probably load up on draft picks to help facilitate trades if Jack goes on LTIR. Jay Snow, $6 million for Toffoli. I'm good. Chico, my point is Fitz needs to do literally anything, even if someone like Matthew Pekka can't play 3C. It's better than continuing to watch these bums stumble. Jack says Jack is probably out for the year. Have to brace for that. Evan, can we move some of these prospects if we're not going to play them? We don't have many. The only prospects we have that have value are guys that we hope to be on the team in the next 2 years or 3 years. Guys like Gritsuk could be here next year, possibly. Hami Naho. No one ever talks about Cam Squires, but I think he could have a future on this team. But any other prospects, for the most part, have very little value. Yeah. We have no prospects. All right, guys, it's that time. I'm going to the bathroom, taking my little bathroom break. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Throw out your final thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, and I will slowly start navigating to the end here. And what a night it's been, guys. We really had another roller coaster evening in a season that's been a complete roller coaster. Bathroom break, back in 2 minutes. Throw it all out there. I'll be right back. Oh, wow. You guys really blew it up here. Utica's filled with nobodies. Unfortunately, that probably is the sad truth. What an unfortunate situation. Chico, Toffoli might have 30 goals in this team already. If you don't think that's worth $6 million per, then I don't really trust what you have to say. That's easy to say with hindsight. There's no guarantee you'd have the 30 goals here. Yeah, if you could go back in time and guarantee he's going to have 30 goals, then you obviously absolutely sign him and then you don't sign Pesci. But that's the beauty of hindsight. I mean, I can't live in the hindsight world. At the time, it would have been downright irresponsible to pay Toffoli $6 million. I really believe that. Plot and Fitzgerald. Oh, man. Yo, Holmes, personally, I think we are... I don't know what does that stand for? WFD, WD? I don't know that one. Pride and respect. My final thought is that this team is fooked. World's worst gamer. I feel bad for the Devils fans that never saw one of our Stanley Cup wins. So do I, because it's been pain and misery. This poor guy, LHM, good night, y'all. Hang in there. It can only get worse. Yeah, this poor guy only knows pain and misery. Chico, take heart, friends. The Devils are even still not yet lost. That's the crazy part. But are we going to slowly bleed out? It will be the darkest season in franchise history, in my opinion. Second darkest, only to that 95-96 season where they missed the playoffs after winning the Cup. That was devastating. Brandon, I think the Devils have a good roster. We have too much playmakers, and this team literally has 0 finishers. Our best finisher is probably Timo. We need to grab at least 3 snipers this deadline. You think we're getting 3 snipers, Brandon? Come on, man. We need them, but that's not all going to happen at the deadline. World's worst gamer. One of our snipers that was supposed to be helping us is now failing in the Vegas organization, obviously referring to Alexander Holtz. Yo, Holmes, poorly constructed, poorly coached, poor consistent effort. I agree there. Natural Canopy out 100% take Marchand, gets under opponent's skin and works his ass off regardless of what other fans think of him. He's a guy you need in playoff moments and a guy we don't have. I would take him in a heartbeat. I don't know that they're going to trade him. I would definitely be up for Marchand. I said that from probably about a month ago. SJ, no depth scoring. We're not winning the Cup without Jack. We're going to have to suffer this season, but next year we might have that finally with Grits and Haminaho. Oh, my God. Next season. I can't be talking about next season. Evan, is it crazy to think that this team can still make a run? Probably. I'm still holding out hope. Like I said, if we just get to the playoffs, my faith will be restored. We just got to get there. That's the biggest thing. Hopefully, Jack will be able to come back by then. We'll probably have some clarity on that, I imagine, on Friday. But if they could get into the playoffs with a hot goalie, if Markstrom is standing on his head, crazier things have happened. Could they win a couple rounds? I think they definitely could. But a lot, guys are going to have to step up big time, and we're not seeing it right now. Jax's plot is bought out after the season. Brandon, our team should be called the New Jersey Playmakers. Allison, I think Keefe is getting off easy because Fitz is so bad at his job, but that's a complaint for another demoralizing loss. I mean, listen, Keefe is trying. He has a very subpar NHL roster, and he's trying anything he can to make it work. Van Walen, final thoughts. Devils make the playoffs, but it's an early out. Keefe's never going to get you there. I know it. Ace knows it too. Watch how his system gets exposed with Hughes out. Select the boy. Can they bring back Curtis McDermott? I would love to see Curtis get some time. Doesn't seem like he's really in favor with Sheldon Keefe. I don't think he really likes that style of play, but I would love to see it. Evan says it's the utilization of the players in the system. I'm still saying, regardless of your system, it's hard to get, blood from a stone. And the bottom 6 has been dreadful most of the year. Mark, the big difference between the team and those successful Devils teams is that those successful Devils teams had some fight. This team buckles like a belt when things get tough. I agree with you there as well. Most of the Dynasty Devils teams were just dripping with compete. They're just dripping with fiery competitors and guys that wanted to win. Heart was never a question of the old school New Jersey Devils. Not at all. Natural Canopy, I still believe this team can make a run, but they need true playoff guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, hopefully we can get a couple. I'd be happy with 2 additions, 2 meaningful additions. Husky, Unchained, our wants and needs don't jive with what's available and what we have to offer / cap space. And now with our current injuries, damn. I think that could be kind of the harsh truth in a nutshell. Doug, the Palat contract was a complete impulse move by Fitz after getting shafted by Johnny Hockey. It may have been a kind of desperation, runner-up prize, if you will. And it's obviously aged horribly and a lot of money that we would love to have to be able to spend elsewhere at the moment. Alex, I've been a fan since 2020, only 1 good season. Well, you haven't suffered that long, Alex. I mean, you only know losing hockey, but, Natural Canopy, bring in Marchand and watch this team change. I would love it. I just don't know. I don't know if there's so many question marks around that. I would be very happy for that, though. That could signify a true kind of culture shift. Ryan Fisher, 106 watching, 72 likes. Who's not pulling their weight? Damn, you guys are stingy. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. and for the most devastating regular season loss in recent memory. Chico, this is darker than 95-96. They won the Cup the year before. This team got smushed by Carolina 2 years ago. We have no centers now, which is absolutely true. We needed centers before Jack got hurt. Now we desperately need. Marchand is injured, I think. Yeah, but I think it's like day to day. It's nothing serious. Chico, 95-96 also led to the slow retool that gave us the glorious 2000s Devils. What a beautiful run it was. Jay Snow says, I can't wait till next season. Oh, my God, man. For real, Jay Snow, we're talking about 7 months from now. The longest 7 months of all time. Natural Canopy, only reason I stress Marchand is because a lot of younger fans hate the guy, and I have no idea why. Because, you know, we live in a soft society. People don't like those types of people, but those are the types of dogs you need in the playoffs. Marchand would be the closest thing we've had to Claude Lemieux, probably since Claude Lemieux. World's worst gamer, no talk about next season right now. Ridiculous. I agree. We are so far away. I can't remotely even start thinking about October yet. I'm in the here and now. We are in one right now. We are in a playoff spot. Jack, next season, no way. Yeah, now. We're talking about now. Evan says, I think we're a few pieces away from being a great team. Jack, we had 3 fourth lines tonight. Jay Snow, as much as I say making one round and done isn't worth it, if we don't make it, I'm going to be so tight. Yeah, make the playoffs. Making the playoffs is a must. Chico, Keefe's system still has this team as the second best defense in terms of goals against. His system is creating chances and expected goals like crazy. The team is just not executing. I hate the expected goals thing is kind of nonsense. And, you know, you guys know I hate analytics. But, Doug, don't quit now, Ace. When they finally win a cup, you can look back and say I stuck through it unless it's another 20 years from now. It's getting taxing, man. Do you know how hard it is to get on here and talk and just not be completely negative after what this season has become? A season that started off with so much promise. I was so jacked up in the summer, and then coming into the season, and then it looked like, you know, they were going to deliver for us. One of the best teams in the league in December, and then to just come back from that Christmas break and just a complete tank. Jack McCabe, bottom 9 is a sin. It really is. Natural Canopy, Ace, what are the chances we bring in Ryan O'Reilly, a finisher and a player that can bring it physically? I would love O'Reilly. He's high on my list as well. I am slightly concerned because of his age, but if the price is not crazy, again, though, he's another guy that I could see lots of teams inquiring on and us getting outbid and talking about how we needed to stay the course and preserve assets and yada, yada, yada. I would love O'Reilly. Another proven winner, dog, playoff type warrior. You need these guys, and we don't have enough. Nowhere near enough. Jack, literally half of our forwards tonight could be in the AHL. I can't disagree. Chris, anyone starting to get worried if Jack is ever going to be the same player he once was? It seemed like, honestly, he was already super timid this year and trying to avoid contact more than normal with that injury in the back of his mind. And I'm afraid it's just going to be something that never goes away for his whole career. He's always going to be looking to avoid contact because, as you see, he's always one hit away from another surgery. It's unfortunate, and this could plague him for the rest of his career. It really could. Jason, the Devils wait till they're down to play hungry. Like tonight, we're down 2 and we play the best hockey. Yep, something we've seen over and over and over again this season. Mark, maybe this team can hire Phil Jackson and he could teach them how to run the triangle offense. I don't know. I'm out of ideas. The Zen Master. Man, Phil. What a legend Phil is. Jay Snow, I don't know if this team plays too tight to start games. At this point, we ain't got shit to lose. Just go out and play. Yeah, play a little loose. But we're still in that playoff spot, and no one wants to be the guy on film making a bad pinch or, you know, a bad turnover that led to a goal against. And Kovacevic is going to have to own that icing call for a while. Jack, imagine if we got JT Miller. Holy shit, he filled in for Jack. Good. Heavier, edgier, more violent to a T. Yeah, I was interested in Miller for sure. For sure. Select a boy. It feels like every Devil season they need a few more pieces for the playoffs. Natural Canopy, Marchand would finally get Bratt to... Mark, Ace, did you see Wes McCauley apparently has a personal beef with Keefe? I did. Keefe testified against his brother-in-law or something in a court case. I didn't know. I knew nothing about this. Apparently, a lot of Leafs fans knew about it, and it was getting recirculated the other night. Given the known history, I don't see how the league allows him to ever referee a game that Sheldon Keefe is a part of. It seems like a completely ridiculous conflict of interest that should not be allowed. I don't even know how it's allowed. It's crazy. Chico, we're going to be sitting here in August before next season's training camp talking about the Devils' miraculous comeback to salvage their season after the dark night in Dallas. Wouldn't that be something special? Wouldn't that be something special? Jay Snow, you're ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, talk about those expectations that never come through. Mark, I think the refs are still holding a grudge over the Kaharski incident. I hear Angel Hernandez is training to be an NHL ref for Devils games. Benjamin, I was just thinking exactly that. Marchand, very nearly Lemieux. Very much the cut from the same cloth. I would love to have him on this team. Brandon Ace, are you still calling for grinders, or have you been changing your mind to more people that can actually put the puck in the net? I would like a combination of the both. Just get me guys that can score they don't need to be the biggest, hitters or anything like that, but just don't get me soft guys. Just get me men that can score. That's my threshold at this point. Men that can score, keyword being men. I have no more interest in boys. I want no more children. People talking about Trevor Zegras. He is the problem. He guys like him are why we are in this position right now. No offense to Trevor Zegras. I think he's going to be a good player in this league. I have no interest in him. I want men that can score. Give me dogs. Guys like Ryan O'Reilly certainly fit the bill. Jay Snow expected BS. Chico saying Raquel, Donato, McCann. That'd be crazy if that happened. I just can't see it. Mark Costanza. Marchand is an agitator, and you just don't see those guys anymore. A la linesman, Lemieux, and Avery. Yeah, throwbacks. Complete throwbacks. Go get Marchand. I would love it. Brandon says, O'Reilly scares me, giving me signing Palat PTSD. And a little bit for me as well. And the last thing this team needs to do is take on more contracts that are going to age horribly and hamstring us down the line. And O'Reilly, could it be? Maybe. He only has 2 years left at a $4.5 million cap hit. He's 34 years old. He is a center. I would roll the dice, assuming you don't have to give up something huge. And at this point, honestly, for O'Reilly, I originally said no. If there's other pieces to even it out, I'm not firmly against trading Nemitz in a deal to get him anymore either. I'm just getting more desperate as the days go on. Trevor, at the very least, the effort was there, and this game shows Fitz we were still competitive. Now go get us the help we need. I hope so. And I'm hoping that Dougie injury doesn't give him even more of a reason to sit tight and do nothing. Jay Snow, playing scared gets you hurt. SJ, the fact they can't finish breakaways alone with the goalie shows the team is so bad at finishing. Yeah, the breakaways have been just atrocious all season long. Jay Snow, there goes Hughes hitting the gym in the offseason. He'll be rehabbing all summer. Unfortunately, you're probably right. Jack, Ace, will you show clips from this live in the Cup Champions video vlog this summer? Oh, man. Guys, if the Devils ever won a cup, I'd be able to die a happy man if they ever win one more, and there would be legendary vlogs. You already know. There'd be legendary vlogs. And, of course, I would show clips from when we were down bad. Nights like tonight. Mark says, won't happen, but we need a Matthew Olivier. I meant to look up what happened. I think he got the misconduct penalty in the game tonight that gave the Lightning like a 10-minute power play. Yeah, Olivier had some sort of roughing, and then he got a misconduct. That essentially took them out of the game, I think. That was at 9:06 of the second. Oh, did they only score one? Husky, I heard Kraken will retain on Tanev. Great player, but won't help in the scoring department. Jack, I really hope a few guys played their last games as Devils tonight. I don't see anyone who played tonight getting traded, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Crazier things have happened, but I just can't see it. I just can't. Jason, I love Tanev. He's a dog. Evan, imagine Aaron Judge on the Devils. Natural Canopy. Hey, Devils fans, give our boy Ace a like and follow if you are new. Guy dedicates his life to the team. Thanks, Natural Canopy. I really just want to get a couple drinks at the Bing on a night like this. A couple drinks at the Bing, maybe a sandwich from Satrial's tomorrow. But I'm in a horrible mood. Jason, no, you think Jack could lift the cup or would he need help? Oh man, I got to go back to the chat. There was some epic quotes from tonight's live. Terrible. Evan, Ace lives and dies the Devils. Love his passion. Thanks, man. It's getting more and more painful as the years go on, though. It really is. Mark, they can't finish 2-on-1s because of all of a sudden Bratt wants to be Adam Oates or Doug Waite with the assists. Jason, no, right here comes Jack with the cup. Oh no, he falls and breaks his shoulder. Brandon, Jason, no, we'd 100% need some help. Need some strong men. Need a lot of momentum to even get it lifted up. Natural Canopy. Imagine David Ortiz slapping a homer against Shesterkin's face. Jason, no, he's so talented, Jack. He could just put on the size. He could get to another level. Like, how do you play letting other guys bully you? Man. Aaron Judge has probably never heard of the Devils. Mark, say what you want about the Flyers, but I do admire their toughness. Guys like Garnet Hathaway, Nick Seeler, and even Konecny bring the physical presence. Yeah, the Broad Street Bullies, man. They always have a little at least a certain level of toughness on their team. That's part of their identity forever. SJ, same Ace, my quality of life would rise astronomically if we win. Oh, for sure. All right, here we go. Jack, just check the last 10 Stanley Cup winning 1Cs. That's skewed, though. You're just picking 1C. How many do you think were under 200 pounds or under 6 foot? Oh, probably a lot. You're talking about under 6 foot. Let me think about this. I think Barkov's kind of big. McCabe, I'm going to go under 6 foot or 200 pounds. I'm going to go 2. I'm going to say 2 or 3. 2 or 3 out of 10. Yeah, because you have 2 criteria there. 200, like someone could be 6'1", 195. So they would technically be under. So you're talking about guys that are over 6 foot and 200 pounds. Yeah, I was right. Okay, 2. Wow. That's crazy. 2 guys under 6 foot, 1 under 200 pounds. So 3 total. Ryan, didn't see the game tonight. What's the Ace review? The Ace review is this was the most gutting loss of all time. And as far as regular season goes, or at least in a long time. And you're lucky you did not have to witness it. Devils got handled early. If not for Jacob Markstrom, they could have been down 3-4-0 after the first. They were lucky to escape the first period with a 1-0 deficit. Got outplayed for large stretches of the game. We're down 2-0. Scored to cut it to 2-1. Give us some false hope in the middle of the game. Then Dallas scored again to make it 3-1. Devils go into the third down 3-1 and then miraculously score 2 goals in the third to tie it. And then off of a bonehead icing by Kovacevic, which in fairness didn't have to be called. There was a defender right there that could have made a play, but nonetheless, still a boneheaded play by Kovacevic to dump it in there. Gets hit for the icing. They have the draw with probably about 10 seconds, 12 seconds left in the third period. Devils in the defensive zone draw. Eric Halla can't win it. Stars win it. A little bit of a skirmish, and then they get a goal off a screen with 4.8 seconds left. Devils 4.8 seconds away from stealing a point in Dallas, and complete disaster. After tonight, I want to go to Bobby Bacala's train store. Oh, man. Chase, no, I'd take steroids instead of getting pushed around. Yeah. The Flyers are a glorified crew. Yeah, Jack, Nico and Jack both 175. I've wanted a big center forever. It seems like it's been a while. Brandon, this is probably the Devils' most interesting trade deadline in this century. I can't see a trade deadline being more important than this one. It is pretty big. Jason says, I think Nico's more than 175 now. If he is, not by much, but he probably is. Trevor, at this point, if we can't get at least the top 6 and 2 bottom 6 guys, probably not worth getting anybody. I mean, wow. Evan, if you still make a video after this game, I feel bad. I've been thinking about not making one, actually. I was like, I just need to go to bed, but I don't know. We'll see. Natural Canopy, this is my nightly therapy. Ace, please tell me you're a Red Sox fan. I hate baseball. I've never liked baseball. If I had to pick a team, I would say I'm a Mets fan, but I don't know how you guys could love the beautiful sport of hockey, the beautiful game, and then watch baseball. It's crazy. Mark, Jack needs a guy like Gretzky had McSorley. Having Marty McSorley in the lineup is one of the reasons Gretzky had so much room on the ice. Yeah, but McSorley was able to do things that you would never get away with in today's league. Not only would you not be in the league, you'd be in prison. Jay Snow, Dallas had zero going in that third and win on one shot. Yeah, we were dominating them in the third. Jack, exactly. Mark put McDermott in the lineup. Can't be worse than Dowling or Bastion. I've been on that wavelength all along. And for the people talk smack on McDermott, I'm like, listen, he doesn't score, but he brings something else to the lineup that no one else on the team can. And so you're leaving in these bottom six guys who don't score or bring anything else. If none of them are going to score, at least bring McDermott out there. He brings an element that no one else can. You're getting something out of him. It's not offensive production, but again, you're not getting that out of the other guys. So at least bring in the guy that can crack skulls, scare the other team a little bit, and provide a morale boost on the bench. He's proven to do that. Baseball is great. Oh, no way, Evan. I'm done. Can't do it. Natural Canopy. I love Boston teams other than the Devils. Obviously been a Devils fan since I was at the 2003 Cup Final at 4 years old. Very nice. Very nice. World's worst gamer. I want Zetterlund, Muhammadulin, and Blackwood back. Well, if it's that simple. Brandon, Fitz can't go out and trade for the sake of trading. If he gets more playmakers, I'm going to be pissed. We need finishers, and we need some grit. I do like O'Reilly. I do like McCann. There's guys out there. We're going to see what he does. Mark, bring back prison-style hockey. We're so removed from that. Yeah, we had a ton of hits tonight. 37 in a losing effort. Natural Canopy Ace, brother. Seriously, any chance we send Mercer? It's possible, but I don't think so anymore. Now I don't think we see any roster players traded, if I'm being honest. I think we see picks, and you might see Nemitz or Casey. That would be my prediction. If a quote-unquote real player is going to get traded, I think it's going to be one of the young defensemen. Brandon, I'm pretty sure Devils won 100% of the games they played this year that involved a fist fight. Someone showed the stat the other day. It wasn't 100%, but it was a well over 500 record, if I'm not mistaken, in games that featured fisticuffs. Evan, I got into hockey a couple years ago, but I've always been a Devils fan. Trevor Fitzgerald has pulled off some surprising moves in the past. If he doesn't by Friday, I'll also be a Fitz doomer. I think there's a lot of people that are going to be there. I think his, I guess you want to call it an approval rating. His approval rating is hanging in the wind right now. If he makes some meaningful moves, I could see it going up a little bit. If he doesn't, I think his approval rating is going to plummet to 10% or so. Natural Canopy. Hell yeah, Evan. Good luck this year going to the Sox home opener. Jack, if I was Dylan or something, I would have two-hand chopped Harley or Duchene in the head. I mean, that would have been some interesting TV, right? Wow. That would have certainly made interesting TV for sure. I just can't believe this is where we are, and I can't believe we let that point get away. 4.8 seconds away from a massive, massive, massive road point after coming back down 2 goals in the third period without jackhughes. It really would have been something so special. It really would have been a very special resurrection. And it was anything but. Instead, it ended up being the most devastating loss. It was the most devastating loss there could be. Jack says heavier, edgier, more violent right there. Trevor, Ace, ban these bums from talking about all of the inferior sports. I mean, I'm obviously biased. I'm not remotely into any sport that I am with hockey. If I had to pick a second favorite sport, it would be, MMA. I love watching MMA, but outside of that, I don't. I watch little bits of football here and there. I do fantasy football every year. I am a casual Giants fan, so I watch some of their games, but they've been completely tragic for a while. And so it's hard for me to, dedicate a large portion of a Sunday fun day to watching the Giants when they're so awful. But I do, watch NFL here and there little bits. I don't think I watched one full game this entire year. And baseball, no. Basketball, no. I might watch bits and pieces of the finals or something. But outside of that, Steven, give me your 2024 fantasy football lineup ace. Let me see if I still have it on my phone. I made it to the championship and lost in devastating fashion. Came in second place, and it ended up being a barn burner. My original quarterback was Brock Purdy, but then I ended up benching him for Sam Darnold. And the crazy thing is, had I put Purdy in instead of Darnold in the last week, I would have won. But my championship week roster was Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, James Cook, Dobbins, the tight end Smith from the Dolphins, receiver Downs. I had tons of injuries too, so I had Downs at wide receiver. He sucked for me. He had 5 points the last week. Sanders, the kicker for Miami, and then Buffalo defense. nicohischier got called into work. At least I got you to listen to. World's worst gamer for sure. Baseball, football, and basketball have been ruined for a long time. Evan, Giants need a QB and a lot more. The Giants are a disaster. Select the boy. Peace out, Ace. Let's go Devils. See you later. Mark, holding out hope that Fitz lands Alex Tuck. I would love that, but I can't see it. Natural Canopy, Aaron Rodgers to the Giants. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I would give him a shot, I suppose. If they don't draft a quarterback that's ready, I mean, to see Aaron Rodgers, he looked like, I don't know. I only saw a little bit, but he didn't look great on the Jets. So I don't know, could he turn it around on the Giants? That would be quite a story, I suppose. I do not like soccer. Jack, NBA blows. Baseball is unwatchable in the regular season. Football is okay. Nothing like the NHL. Nothing. I'm upset I learned that so late. When did you learn that, Jack? Brandon, Sleepy Fitz is good at buying when he wakes up from his slumber. He usually don't overpay, but he is really bad at selling. We got nothing for Toffoli. Yeah, that killed me. I thought for sure we were going to get a first rounder for him. That made it even worse to when we traded him and didn't even get a first. I was devastated. Evan says, no Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson, absolutely. Cam Ward. Jack McCabe, Alex Tuck would be so good if they could somehow package him with McLeod brother. Wow, give them Nemitz. They're dying for right-hand D in Buffalo. Throw a pick if you must. I wouldn't be mad at that. Damn, dude, that wide receiver core. Yeah, Collins, Jefferson. Yeah, and then I had Jay Downs in my flex. Yeah, and of course, Amari Cooper was on my bench. He had a good week, too. If I had Amari Cooper in over Downs, I would have won the championship game. Unbelievable. He was just so inconsistent all year. Yeah. Decisions that'll plague me where I could have won the title game, but second place. Husky 2000 Devils first line playoffs. Arnott, 23 games played, 8 goals, 12 assists for 20 points. Elias, 23 games played, 7 goals, 3 assists for 20 points. Sakura, 23 games, 9 goals, 7 assists. Yeah. Wait. No, that can't be. You must have missed something. There's no way. I think you probably meant 17 points for Sakura, because this would have been 26 points. Mark, I teach 8th grade, and I hear the kids talk NBA. When they bring up LeBron, I have to tell the kids that it used to be much physical, and Jordan was putting up 50 at the same time playing stellar defense. Oh, the kids are lost with the Jordan versus LeBron thing. It's not even close. Natural Canopy, and I watch the 95 and 2000 videos religiously. I'll take you on a face-off. Jack, only started watching hockey intensely since the start of 22-23 season, but I've got into crazy. Like, I know things and have remembered things that no one would ever need to know. Very nice. Natural Canopy, remember to give Ace a like, follow, and a share. Thanks. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. Steven, Cooper was so weird. He was traded to one of the best QBs in the league and could barely do anything strange. Yeah, terrible. Brandon, we just need to pray to God that the teams are dumb enough to take our third and fourth line players. Hopefully a change of scenery between two bad players can help both teams. I just can't see it. 8 assists. Okay, so that would have been 15 points. 8 assists for 17 points. Yeah. So you're talking about 17 points in 23 games for Sikora and 20 points each in 23 games for Eliash and Arnott. Yeah, the A-line. Nothing like it. The A-line is legendary for a reason. They don't make them like those boys anymore. Crazy. What a fall from grace, guys. Just if you're one of the guys in here that was around for it, be thankful. Be thankful that you were alive during a Devils dynasty period, because it may never happen again, quite frankly. It really may never happen ever again. That may have been peak New Jersey Devils as an organization, and we were there for it. Had a front row seat for it. The A-line, the great Martin Brodeur, Claude Lemieux, Scotty Niedermeyer, Scott Stevens, Alexander Mogilny. Husky says Sikora was my boy. Mark, speaking of Sikora, do you see like 15 years ago, Migray had Sikora's 2000 Game 7 Stanley Cup final jersey that was cut off him. They had it on consignment for like $5,000. Yeah, the 2000 Game 6 in Dallas. I just saw you corrected it. I do remember seeing it. It was cut, and I think they had it safety pinned together. And looking back on it, I regret not buying it. It's a huge regret. I mean, even though there's kind of a weird thing attached to the jersey, I would love to have that one. I regret not buying that one, Mark. I do remember seeing it, and I think it sat around for a little while. Jack, Ace, best non-series winning playoff game in Devs history. Ooh, that's a good one. Best non-series winning playoff game in Devs history. Non-series winning. That's a really good one. I would imagine. That's a really good one, Jack. I don't have a quick answer for that one. Non-series winning playoff game in Devs history. Wow. Mark says those games in 2012 against Florida were classic. The Zajac trot after his OT goal. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I'm really trying to think. I guess you would have to consider. I guess I would have to consider Game 6 of the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals when the Devils were down. They were originally down 3-1 to the Flyers, and then they won Game 5 to be down 3-2. And then that Game 6 they won in a close one at Continental. I think it was 2-1. I guess I'd have to consider that Game 6 to be in the mix just because that tied the series at 3, and then they obviously went on to win Game 7 on the road in Philly to go to the Cup Finals. But that Game 6 would be one that sticks out for sure for me because it extended the series to go to Game 7. That one would definitely be in there. Even though the game, and that was a very close and entertaining game, that Game 6. Yeah, they ended up winning 2-1. All the goals were in the third period, and Lindros scored late. Devils were up 2-0, and Lindros scored late to make it 2-1. That one would be in there. In terms of an entertaining game that was great hockey, but the Devils lost, Game 5 of the 2000 Cup Finals, the Devils lost It 1-0 in triple overtime. I think Marty had like 40 something saves and Belfour had like 50 something. Let me check that one out. Very entertaining game. Heartbreaking loss. I was at that one live. The cup was in the building. And unfortunately, the Devils couldn't get it done. But luckily, they did take care of business the very next game, game 6 in Dallas. But let me see. Yeah, so Marty had 40 saves in that game. 40 saves on 41 shots, and Belfour stopped all 48. That was a super entertaining game. I would put that one just as in memorable playoff battles. That one is definitely up there for me. World's Worst Gamer says last night of season to make playoffs, 87-88. He's referring to the Johnny Mack ripping one past the Panger to get to the playoffs, but he did. His question was playoff game. Yeah, playoff game. SJ started watching in 05 when the dynasty was just ending. Anyone miss Zubris? Of course we miss Zubris. Well, that guy was a horse on the puck and on the wall. Good luck getting the puck off that guy's stick. And we're talking about this, I don't know how many games ago, but in one of the lives, we're talking about how fun on Bad Devils teams, the Zajac, Zubris, Yager line was because they could cycle and dominate puck possession like no other with those two massive bulls, Yager and Zubris on the wings. Talk about a puck possession line and cycling down low. My God, they were absolute just monsters. Monsters. Natural Canopy Ace, do you think the assistant coaches have anything to do with the recent skid? No, I have to blame the players. They need to finish on their like. To me, it comes down to finishing your golden chances. Bury the damn puck. No coaching staff could do that for you. You got to bury the puck. Period. Husky Unchained Sakura had that Paul Correa-like slapper coming down the wing. Loved PK. Was torn when Stevens nearly killed him. That was quite a hit. Quite a hit. Mark, some of our most tragic playoff losses were against Carolina. 05-06 series clincher when Gomer got injured on the ice, which allowed Carolina a breakaway, and they scored in 08-09 Game 7. That was tragic. Jack McCabe, are you saying the Devils had to win the game? Because if not, yeah, Game 7 of the Rangers would be on there as well. The Matteau. The Stefan Matteau game. Speaking of which, let me see something here. This is actually a ticket to that. This is, you see the Rangers 94, Eastern Conference Finals, 3rd round, home Game 4, which was Game 7. This is the Stefan Matteau game. Absolutely heartbreaking. This is a ticket from that game. I was not at the game, but wow, what an epic series in NHL history, and a just absolute legendary series. By many accounts, that was one of the best series in NHL history by a lot of historians. A lot of historians have said that was one of the best ones. It is crazy if the Devils were able to win that series. I do think they would have. I do think they would have beaten the Canucks in the Cup Finals. It's unfortunate. It's another one of those, things. I'm just looking around over here. Didn't see it, but didn't they hold the Leafs to like 10 shots in a playoff game? I would say that one. I think it was 6 shots. I'm pretty sure it was 6 shots. And I actually was at that game. I'm pretty sure it was Game 6 against the Leafs in an elimination game. Let me just double check my stats here. Yep, that was it. Game 6. Devils eliminated Cujo and the Leafs. Matt Sundin, Ty Domi, and all the boys. They got bounced in 6 on the Continental Airlines Arena ice, and Marty had 6 shots in the shutout. 6 shots in the shutout. Prezify DBB, thanks. It's time, Ace. Season is over. Need to pack it in. Thanks for the super chat. I'm close to it's really hard to continue on with this venture. I'm not going to lie. It is painful. Completely painful. Brandon, good night, Ace. Thanks for the streams. I'll see you here on Friday. Take care. Jack, Ace, what's your favorite ticket stub? I mean, you should know this. I don't know if I have one near me to show it. I just have some random shit on my desk, so I actually don't think I have one near me. But let me take a look. I might. No, I don't have one near me, but it would be I'm very biased. It would be the 2003 Game 7. 2003 Game 7 would be it for me. Presify says, am I dooming? Maybe, but I don't care. Terrible hockey for 3 months. I think we failed to make the playoffs. Then Fitz needs to be fired. We need to clean house. Also need to trade a major piece of our core for a shakeup. I could see all of it. I could see all of the above happening, but I think Fitz is safe, guys. I really do. Jack, are you going live on deadline day or at like 2? I might just do it like all day. I don't know. I might order some food and just chill on here all day with NHL Network on and then working the computer tabs and the phone just to kind of see as things come on. I haven't decided yet. But I'll definitely be live at some point, and it might be early. I might do like a breakfast edition, or maybe I'll just stay on the whole time. I might do it all day. I don't know if I could last, but maybe I'll try it. I don't know. We'll see. But I think I probably will be on here for a while at least. I would say maybe from the morning till the deadline. Maybe I'll do like a 10 to 3. Maybe like a 10 to 3 special. I don't know. I'm going to have all the food ready to go. Oh, man. Evan, my spring break starts on Friday. I don't feel like going to Devils games if they keep performing like this. Well, I can't blame you there. I mean, in some countries, bringing your kid, you're bringing your kid to a Devils game would be considered, child abuse. I think we're close to that point with this team right now. Bringing a child to the Rock could be considered child abuse. I totally could see it. Mark, I still remember where I was in the Devils lost Game 7 in 2001. Parking lot of an Italian restaurant, listening to the radio, and my sister saying sorry to me. How are you not watching it? You're in the parking lot of an Italian restaurant? And that shit was late at night, too. It had to end at like 11 o'clock. Trevor, Ace, what are the surprises? Fitz goes out and gets a haul and surprises the shit out of us. I would say not very good, but I will continue to hold out hope like a fool that does happen. It would be amazing. I don't think it will. And I'm trying to manage my expectations and manage the expectations of others because I don't anticipate major moves of any kind, but I would love to be incorrect. Michael, who do you want to acquire? I would love a top 6 and multiple bottom 6 pieces. I would be ecstatic, truthfully, with a top 6 and a bottom 6. I mean, if we could get 3 players, that'd be great. But again, I think you're asking for way too much. I would love like O'Reilly or McCann, and then a guy like Donato. I think that's about as good as it gets. People are throwing out Raquel. I don't think we have the ammo to land him. I would love it. I would love Raquel, but McCann and Donato, I think, would be a win. O'Reilly and Donato would be a win. I would love Marchand. I think that's probably the most unrealistic one on the list. But we'll see. Jack says do it all day. That's awesome. We'll see. I probably will do it for a while. Ryan, who me? I want Marchand. Fuck it. I want him too. World's Worst Gamer. I remember those days that my son, it was holiday for him. I never went I never sent him to school on an NHL trade deadline day. Nice. Trevor, I want a top 6 and 2 bottom 6. That would be ideal. But I think, again, that's asking for a whole lot of help at one deadline. Ryan, dude, my 10-year-old called the loss night after the icing. It is child abuse that he knows that would happen already. Is that, Ryan, is that your son in that photo there with you? It looks like you guys are enjoying a game. Is that, it looks, I can't tell. Is that The Rock? Is that you and your boy at a game at The Rock? You have photo evidence of the child abuse, Ryan? Jack, I told someone that I hate watching the Devils, and they said, then why do you still watch? And I responded saying that I'm a sick person. Yeah. Self-mutilation watching Devils games. Mark, it was like 7 or 8 o'clock, and the restaurant didn't have TVs or anything. We were out for family dinner. Mark, how do you go to a family dinner on a Game 7 of a Cup final? Mark, Ace, when do you think we start doing the math of how many games we can lose and still make the playoffs? I mean, I'm already kind of doing that in my head. Sadly, with the lead, I mean, I still think they have to go at least 500. But again, those teams, a lot of it depends on, I don't want to have to rely on outside help and rely on other teams to lose for us to get in. Like, I would like to kind of go in on a decent note, playing decent hockey, and not just we got in because everyone else just sucked even worse than we sucked. Natural Canopy Arena was great, even though they suck. Any upgrades to Prudential Center you'd like to see? Fire, lights around the concourse? I don't really care that much about that stuff. I want to see a winning team on the ice. The upgrades to Prudential Center should include a team on the ice that can compete. And the food on the concourse sucks. I don't go to a ton of games, and so when I do go, I like to splurge to be in one of the suites or one of the clubs that has food. So I'm not really, for the most part, out on the concourse buying food, but the couple times I have in the past few years, it's been terrible. Ace, I went to the Flyers home opener with my buddy, and the concourse was great, and the opening was amazing. Any upgrade? Oh, I just read this. You pasted it twice. Jack, the Rock would look best if it was detonated and there was a new building built somewhere else. I agree to that. David Chimes, what's up? Here late, but I don't care. Anyone says the team play has been strong since the break. We outplayed Dallas again, and the only team-wide problem is ridiculously bad 5-on-5 finishing. I think that's a tad generous, David. We got rolled in that first period. We took over the game in the third, but it was, once again, too little, too late because of the collapse with 4.8 seconds left. Man, 4.8 seconds from stealing a point and possibly looking for a second in an overtime or a shootout. Wild. Mark, I was only a casual fan back then, plus my grandma was in town from New York. Okay, that makes more sense. Colin, the one Devils game I get to go to every year and they blow it. Oh, you were there tonight, Colin? What a devastation. Mark, plus I don't really watch Devils games, plus I'm superstitious. Well, tonight was crazy. Completely crazy. A defeat, just. David Chimes, look at the hit totals, look at Timo's, wore them down. That icing was bullshit. Yeah, the icing sucked, but you got to, Kovacevic can't put him in that position. He should have never iced it. It sucks that he did. It sucks that it was called. I mean, Harley was right there. It could have easily not been called, but it also would have never happened if Kovacevic didn't ice it or potentially ice it. So, total unfortunate sequence of events. We get banged for the icing. Haula can't win the draw. Markstrom gets screened. It was all crazy, man. Terrible. All right, guys, I'm done. It's freaking late. I don't know. I probably will record another video because I'm a sick person. I'm a sick individual, and I'm silly like that. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. I can't tell in this program how many there are, but it's probably not good. It seems like it's not good. But Devils lose an absolutely painful one. by a score of 4-3. They found a way to lose a game that they clawed back in. Oh, people are getting chatty again. Evan, I wish I didn't watch Devils games. Damn. Natural Canopy Ace. Only reason I ask is because I think it would definitely get the crowd more involved. I have red LEDs in my room. Cost me $15. I mean, they have a good amount of, the in-arena production, I think, is fine for the most part. David chimes, he flipped it at him. Any NHL player could play that linesman on crack. Yeah, I agree. It was right at Harley. I mean, but again, skate in a little more before you fire it, and there's no risk. It is unfortunate because that is a bad mistake on, Kovacevic has to own that. Jack, jokes aside, The Rock is a lousy atmosphere. Go anywhere else and it's so much more electric. I think that's more of an indictment on our fans, though. Our fan base is not good. I've said that for years. I mean, it is what it is. Colin, Dallas fans suck. This one guy kept throwing popcorn over the boards into the Devils bench. No clue how he didn't get kicked out. That's pretty funny. Husky Unchained, good night. SJ says, do it all day, bro. I probably will. Ryan Fisher, thanks. He's 84 likes. Have a good night. Good night to you. Jack, The Rock needs a new DJ. Holy hell. I'd imagine the DJ stuff is stipulated from above. I would like to see more, hardcore, not hardcore metal, but old rock, some metal, the old school arena bangers, play some Pearl Jam, Metallica. We do get little snippets of it, but it's far too kind of poppy for me. Little Disney, a little too much Disney Channel. Natural Canopy making a more electric atmosphere. Trevor, The Rock is electric during the playoffs. World's worst gamer. If players can't stay healthy, hard to judge how good a team really is. Frustrating stuff. Absolutely. Evan, see you Friday. Bye, chat. Natural Canopy, it is, but it needs to be like that all the time. Yeah, we're not a regular season, ruckus fan base. Jack says, Trevor, we wouldn't know. Jack, enough with the children's and soft millennial garbage with the songs. I agree. Natural Canopy, I got a hard on when they played Slipknot at the Dallas game. All right, you guys are messed up. Thanks for coming out. What a night. Devils lose. One of the biggest heartbreaking regular season games that I could recall, honestly. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. To be 4.8 seconds away from a stolen point on the road without jackhughes after Dougie Hamilton goes down and we play 5 defensemen. I mean, it would have been it could have been a rallying point, I think, on the season, or at least for the stretch run. It could have been something for them really to rally around. It wasn't in the works. We get hit for that icing. Can't win the draw. Ends up in the back of the net, and what an awful loss. Absolutely gutting. I hope the team can recover from it. I don't know if I will be able to recover from it, but I shall certainly try. I probably will be, I guess I'll be on here all day Friday, I guess. I don't know. NHL trade deadline is Friday. I'll probably be doing a live on here. I thought about going to the game, but I don't think I can. And so maybe I'll just do a live, take a short break, and then maybe do a pregame. I don't know. But I'll be on here Friday, I guess. And maybe a video or two before, but I'm kind of down in the dumps. But that's it, guys. Thanks for coming out. Another, bitch session, therapy session, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But hopefully this team gets it together. Hopefully we can get in the playoffs and make some noise. We just need to get to the playoffs, man. Even if we get our asses kicked, obviously I don't want that to happen, but getting to the playoffs and getting your asses kicked is much better than never making the playoffs at all. And I will die on that hill. And that's it. That is it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.